IST understands the importance of collaboration and has signed a number of MOUs with leading institutions and universities abroad for faculty, student exchange and research programs. At SRM IST, boundaries of knowledge are constantly pushed, encouraging research in every discipline of study. Centers of excellence with well-funded R&D facilities, functioning in association with industry, the government and private agencies, make SRM IST a premier destination for researchers. Each and every SRM student is groomed to hit the ground running when starting a career. Last year, more than 1,000 companies visited SRM Institute of Science and Technology and made over 12,000 job offers, with a compensation package reaching as high as Rs 1 crore per annum. Besides placement, the entrepreneurial skills among students and faculty are identified by the SRM Innovation and Incubation Center (SIIC), which eases their startup journey through industry, alumni and investor connections. At SRM IST, as much as studies are taken seriously, there's equal emphasis on extracurricular activities. When it comes to sports, SRM students are always in the thick of action. Sportspersons from the university compete at the highest level and have won international tournaments, cementing a solid reputation. Innovative academic programs with opportunities for multidisciplinary study, international collaborations for students and faculty exchange programs, funded research leading to numerous patents, incubation of new businesses, record placements of graduating students, and a pulsating campus life are the hallmarks of SRM IST. The university is also known for its illustrious alumni network with 185,000 plus alumni spread across the globe. Enter SRM, where learning, empowerment, creativity and innovation stand as cornerstones of the future, not only giving students a rich academic experience but also equipping them with life skills which are vital to succeed in the highly charged modern world. SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Learn, leap and lead. A legacy in education and enlightening lives that spans 37 years, led by a vision to build a nurturing academic environment. SRM Institute of Science and Technology stands at the forefront of India's education revolution. Welcome to India's finest multidisciplinary university that has won national and international recognition. Spread over 400 acres, SRM IST functions from 5 beautiful green campuses at Katangulathur, Ramapuram, Vadapalani and Trichy in Tamil Nadu, and at Modi Nagar adjacent to New Delhi. Together they offer a wide range of undergraduate, postgraduate and doctoral programs in over 100 disciplines. Over 50,000 students from around the world pursue academic programs in 6 faculties: agricultural sciences, engineering and technology, medicine and health sciences, law, management and science and humanities. SRM IST is replete with all the facilities that a student would need, from a huge aircraft hangar for the students of aerospace engineering to one of the finest medical simulation centers for students of medicine. Every discipline of study has specialized labs with state-of-the-art equipment. In addition to individual department or college libraries, a digitally enhanced, well-stocked central library houses over 3 lakh books, 40,000 e-books and journals. In an increasingly interconnected world, SRM IST understands the importance of collaboration and has signed a number of MOUs with leading institutions and universities abroad for faculty, student exchange and research programs. At SRM IST, boundaries of knowledge are constantly pushed, encouraging research in every discipline of study. Centers of excellence with well-funded R&D facilities functioning in association with industry, the government and private agencies make SRM IST a premier destination for researchers. Each and every SRM student is groomed to hit the ground running when starting a career. Last year,
Distinguished and esteemed guests, delegates and participants from several countries, deans and directors from various departments and institutions, beloved members of the faculty, doctoral students, and all our dear participants. It is a glorious moment to extend my warm wishes on behalf of the organizing committee of ICONN 2023. We are indeed honored to have all of you here with us. We are here today for the inaugural function of the 7th edition of Biennial International Conference on Nanoscience and Nanotechnology, ICONN 2023, organized by Department of Physics and Nanotechnology, SRMIST, co-sponsored by Defense Research and Development Organization, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Indian Science Congress Association, in association with Shizuoka University, Japan, National Yangmen Xiaotang University, Taiwan, GNS Science New Zealand, University of Rome Tor Vergata, Italy, Indian Ceramic Society, the Asian Consortium on Computational Material Science, Innovation Science and Technology Foundation, Tirupati, Indian Physics Association, Solar Energy Society of India, and Springer Nature. It is a mark of an undying tradition to invoke the Almighty at the beginning of an important event. Before taking the first step, an entreaty for aid and guidance from the higher power would be in order. For a serene beginning, we kindly request you all to raise for the invocation.
சீராரும் வதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் மதி சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு திரைநுதலும் தரிதனலும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிலமை திறம் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே 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 நீராரும் கடலொடுத்த.
Kindly be seated. It is a pride and honor to have distinguished personalities with us on this august occasion. We extend a cordial welcome to the esteemed dignitaries for their valuable presence. We now request the convener of ICONN 2023, Professor John Tiruvadigal, to deliver the welcome note and to enlighten us about the conference. Kindly, sir.
Thank you, Evangeline. Is it audible, Evangeline?
Yes, sir.
Good morning to you all. Our most respected chief guest, Professor Chenupati Jagadish, President, Australian Academy of Sciences, Editor-in-Chief, Applied Physics Reviews, distinguished Professor, Research School of Physics, the Australian National University. Our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor C. Muthamizhelvan. Our dear Register, Professor S. Punnuswamy. Our revered Dean, Professor T.V. Gopal. Our respected speakers, delegates, participants, and my dear colleagues. It's my privilege to welcome you all to this 7th edition of Biennial International Conference on Nanoscience and Nanotechnology, ICONN, organized by the Department of Science and Technology, FIST supported Department of Physics and Nanotechnology, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, India, co-sponsored by Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, Government of India, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, Government of India, and Indian Science Congress Association, Chennai chapter. In association with Shizuoka University, Japan, National Yang Ming Chia University, Taiwan, GNS Science, New Zealand, University of Rome, Tor Vergata, Italy, Indian Ceramic Society, the Asian Consortium on Computational Material Science, Indian Physics Association, and Solar Energy Society of India. I'm very pleased to record that the 4th edition of ICONN was inaugurated by carbon nanotube fame Dr. Suma Ijima. The 5th edition by Padma Shri Professor Ajay Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India. The 6th edition by then the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India Secretary, Professor Aishwar Sharma. Now we are very honored and privileged that the President of Australian Academy of Sciences, Professor Chenupati Jagadish, is inaugurating this 7th edition in spite of his busy schedule. We are very privileged you be here, sir, for this inaugural program. This edition comprises the different domains of nanoscience and nanotechnology. Leading researchers in these areas will be presenting their results and findings. 2,588 participants from 20 countries have conversed in this virtual conference. The conference program consists of 18 keynote talks, 76 invited lectures, 194 contributed lectures during this 3-day mega event. One of the highlights of this edition is that 614 posters will be presented through Slack workspace, in which 1,614 channels are created. The presenter will be available in both online video and chat modes during their allotted time. Also, as a part of ICONN 2023, we are organizing an event on 2nd day exclusively for India's top intermediate and tertiary school and college students on seeding nanoscience in young minds, live interaction with a nanoscientist, a breakthrough program for 14 to 19 years of age group meritorious students, co-hosted by Indian Science Congress Association, Chennai chapter. We believe and hope that this program, Seeding Nanoscience in Young Minds, live interaction with the nanoscientists, align with the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India's the priority. In this edition, researchers will be honored with ICONN Innovation Award, ICONN Outstanding Women Researcher Award, Young Researcher Award, Best Oral and Poster Award, Professor Cavasso Prize for Best Poster in Computational Nanotechnology, Springer Nature Poster Prize for doctoral students. All abstracts published in this ICONN 23 abstract volume with ISBN number, manuscripts of the research findings presented in this conference will be peer reviewed, and accepted papers will be published in the special issue of Chemosphere, Surfaces and Interfaces, ESIS Journal of Solid State Science and Technology, Journal of Nanoparticle Research, Journal of Material Science, Materials in Electronics, and AAP Proceedings. With happiness, I wish to place on record my hearty thanks to Board of Management, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, our collaborators, our sponsors, CSIRO, DRDO, and ISCA, and journal partner Springer Nature, and other sponsors for their kind and timely support in organizing this virtual conference. On behalf of organizers, I welcome you all to this ICONN 2023, a grand virtual celebration of nanoscience and nanotechnology hosted by SRM Institute of Science and Technology, India, a temple of learning. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Angela Littleflower, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics and Nanotechnology, SRM IST, to introduce the chief guest.
It's a great privilege to have Professor Chennupati Jagadish, AC, President, Australian Academy of Sciences, Australian National University, with us today. Professor is an acknowledged world leader in the research field of semiconductor optoelectronics, and he has pioneered novel delta doping and wavelength shifting process in semiconductors that has led to innovative quantum well, quantum wire, and quantum dot lasers. His work on quantum dot is particularly noteworthy, and to his credit, Professor has published more than 1,000 plus research papers, and he holds 6 US patents. He has co-authored a book and co-edited 15 books, guest edited 20 special issues of journals, and edited 12 conference proceedings. He has also received several awards, and to highlight few, he has received Thomas Callinan Award of Electrochemical Society in 2023 and prestigious Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award from the Government of India, presented by the President of India in the year 2023. We deem it a privilege, sir, to have such a distinguished personality with us. And with this short introduction, I humbly request Professor Chennupati Jagadish to deliver the inaugural address. Kindly, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Angeline Littleflower, for that kind introduction. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ms. Chelvan, and also Dean, Dr. Professor T.V. Gopal, and also that the convener of the conference, Professor Thiruvadigal, and also that Dr. Karthikeyan, the head of department, and also Dr. Kiran Mangalampalli for inviting me to participate in this important conference. And I'm honored, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you today on this International Conference on Nanoscience and Nanotechnology 2023. So as most of you know, that the science has an important role to play in the society. And we talk about science, and we are talking about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and medicine. So in terms of STEM, and today when you're dealing with any issues, for example, recently we have learned the role of science in terms of dealing with the pandemic. And many scientists have worked together to be able to really recognize and identify and diagnose the viruses, and then identify their DNA sequences and genetic background, as well as finding vaccines in a very short period of time. This has been possible because of the fact that the RNA research has been, messenger RNA research has been going on for more than 30 years or so. So in science, the fundamental science plays an important role. Then we go to the applied science, and finally we go to the commercialization. The full spectrum is very important in science, and that's how the societies can benefit from the science and its contributions in the longer term. So that's something which we need to keep in mind, the role of fundamental science in the society and how that can lead to future technologies and future cures for various diseases or so. In terms of, again, climate change is another issue which this society is facing. And the climate change is going to have a huge impact in all of us globally. And particularly, we cannot afford to allow the global planet temperatures to exceed 1.5%. That means we need to reduce the consumption of the greenhouse gases, and then also remove the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere in order to be able to maintain that planet temperature to be below 1.5 degrees Celsius or so. So that means we need to develop new technologies, and also we need to also develop the new ways of living and adopting ourselves to reduce our footprint on greenhouse gas emissions, for example. In terms of nanoscience and nanotechnology have an important role to play in all industry sectors. It is called as a technology of the future. what is so special about nanoscience and nanotechnology? Why we are so excited about it? When you take materials, when you go to the nanoscale, two significant properties change. One is the classical physics fails, the quantum physics starts coming into picture. That means we need to understand the materials from the quantum mechanics point of view rather than a classical physics point of view. That also opens the door for us in terms of being able to make a wide variety of quantum technologies or quantum devices, which I will come back to. The second thing which happens is that the large surface to volume ratio allows us to have many surface atoms looking for something to attach to. That could lead to significant improvements in terms of catalysis for chemical reactions, in terms of splitting water to generate hydrogen, or for sensing applications or so. So really, the nanotechnology is already been used in the industries. For example, if we come to electronics, and we've been talking the last 20 years or so, we are going to really have nanoscale features in the transistors. Now, the 7 nanometer node of the electronic transistors or the integrated chips have already been manufactured in industry, indicating that we are truly, well and truly in the nano regime or the nanoscience and nanotechnology regime of this industry of electronics. Whenever you are buying any electronic devices, whether it is computers or phones, and then already we are using this nanotechnology in day-to-day life. And already we have been talking about using this, people have already demonstrated in the laboratory transistors as small as 2 nanometers is the smallest feature in these devices. If you go to the smaller features, you can be able to pack many transistors in a silicon chip, and also you can be able to switch them on and off faster. So that means you can be able to have faster computer chips, and also you'll be able to have many of these transistors. That means it can give you multiple functionalities. In the area of quantum dots, and we've already been hearing about quantum dots, and again, because of the fact that these nanoparticles, which are in the nanoscale, giving quantum properties, we call them as quantum dots. Quantum dots are already been used in the QD TVs. When you look at these TVs, when you look at these things, whenever you look at in the marketplace now, they talk about QD TVs, they are quantum dot TVs. That means already in the large area displays or so, the quantum dots are already been used. That means nanotechnology already been used. In the same way, today we are using LED light bulbs. Again, LED light bulbs are made out of this nanotechnology, and particularly if you go and look at the active devices, and then we are dealing with the nanometer scale dimensions, and that's what is leading to the development of this particular LED lights, which is going to last a long time and also consume less energy as well. So in the chemical industry, already nanotechnology has been used for a range of applications, as I mentioned to you about catalysis. And again, energy is nanotechnology is widely used. For example, nanoscale-based transistors, quantum dot, nanoscale-based solar cells, quantum dot solar cells, nanowire solar cells, and even perovskite solar cells, and the range of solar cells currently being used. They're already making use of nanotechnology, and active devices have got a nanoscale dimensions in these areas, for example. Currently, we are using nanotechnology to split water to generate hydrogen as a clean energy source. Thereby, in the future, we can create hydrogen economy, hydrogen cars or so. So that's why people are really using this nanotechnology for generating clean energy sources. Again, batteries, and you talk about lithium-ion batteries, or the range of batteries you really recently we're using, they're all making use of nanotechnology, for example. So we've been talking about quantum computing in the future. Again, nanotechnology is enabling developing technologies like quantum communications and quantum technologies. We are working towards making single photon sources, single photon detectors. These are the ones which are going to be used in quantum communications. Thereby, communications are going to be highly secure. But again, as you know, that the security is becoming a very important issue for all of us, and to be able to access the bank accounts or any devices which you're dealing with, any accounts you're dealing with, that means quantum communications are going to play a very important role. As you can see, that the nanotechnology has an important role to play in the future, and there's a lot of potential there for us, all of us, to be able to contribute to this field of nanotechnology and nanoscience. And I'm delighted this particular conference is focusing on nanoscience and nanotechnology. And at a time when we are dealing with some of the challenges in terms of pandemics and travel becoming much more challenging and also becoming expensive, and we have learned how to interact with each other virtually. That means it can open the doors for people, those are faraway places, those who cannot afford to travel to conferences, still be able to learn and then recent developments in the field and share their knowledge with us. That's a great opportunity for us. And again, the pandemic taught us new ways of interacting with each other. Finally, for young researchers and young people, those are students, those are the audience. The most important thing in your life, if you want to be successful, is being self-confident, and self-belief is the most important thing in life. If you do not believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you. So that's why first and foremost, you have to believe in yourself and develop the self-confidence. More knowledge you gain and more self-confidence you build up. So I encourage you to really start thinking about how do you really build self-confidence. The next thing is that lots of times people ask me, what should I study? I say that choose whatever you're passionate about. If you're choosing something you're passionate about, you're having fun. If you're having fun, you never look at how much time you're spending at work. That means that gives you the able to be successful in life as well. So that's why choosing something you're really passionate about is very important in life. And in addition to that, and you need to put the hard work needed. However passionate you may be, however smart you may be, but then without the hard work, you cannot really make progress. And again, I encourage youngsters to really think about concentrating, because there are not too many diversions these days in terms of internet and particularly social media or so, TikTok and various things. But try to really see that how you can focus on your studies and your work so that you can be successful in life. Persistence and perseverance are very, very important in life. And I hope that you persist and persevere in the goals which you set for yourself and try to achieve them. Sometimes in countries like India, we talk about the importance of how important, if you're technically good, you can be very successful in life. But also, I have learned, particularly when I left India and then came to Western world, the communication skills also play an important role. If you cannot communicate with your colleagues, with your fellow students, or with your superiors, then you may not be able to effectively be able to demonstrate what you're achieving and what you're contributing to the particular organization or particular project, for example. Communication skills also become very important. If you write papers, for example, you may have great results, but if you do not know how to write a paper well, then you may not be able to publish in high impact journals, for example. So that's why both oral communications and written communications become important. And the teamwork is also important in life. And particularly when you're brought up in this environment where competition is very fierce, and then you want to be always on the top of the class, for example. And that means you always look at being competitive and looking at others. But nowadays, science is becoming very multidisciplinary, and also that the group activity and collaboration and cooperation. So that means your ability to work with other people also becomes very important to be successful in life. Finally, develop the leadership skills as well. Ultimately, you can do on your own any small amount of work, but by working with other people and be able to develop the leadership skills so that you can lead teams, and then thereby you'll be able to make a much bigger impact in the society and also have better satisfaction in your own life as well. With that, I want to congratulate all of the people, those who are involved in organizing the ICONN 2023, and we wish you all good luck with the conference and enjoy. And I hope you develop learn new things and also able to share your own knowledge. And in addition to that, and develop new friendships and while catching with old friends as well. With that, thank you for the opportunity to be able to participate. And then in this particular conference, wish you good luck. Thank you.
The more knowledge you gain, the more confident you become. A fine message you have given, sir, for the young generation. Thank you, sir, for your informative and enlightening speech. It is now time to release the present financial of the university by initiating and executing path-breaking ideas, developing people, and devising strategies to transform the university to global standards. Now I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, SRMIST, to formally release the abstract volume of the conference. Kindly, sir. Thank you, sir. I now kindly invite Professor T.V. Gopal, Dean, College of Engineering and Technology, to deliver the presidential address.
Thank you. Distinguished Chief Guest, Professor Chenupati Jagadish, President, Australian Academy of Sciences, Australian National University, Guest of Honor, Professor Kazuyuki Izumi, President, Shizuoka University, other learned speakers, participants, my dear colleagues and student friends. A warm greetings to all of you. It is a great pleasure that I welcome you to the 7th edition of the International Conference on Nanoscience and Nanotechnology, ICONN 2023. At this juncture, I must extend my heartfelt thanks to Shizuoka University, Japan, GNS, New Zealand, National Chai Chiaotang University, Taiwan, University of Rome, Tor Vergata, Italy, Asian Consortium on Computational Material Science, Japan, Indian Ceramic Society, Indian Physics Association, Solar Energy Society of India, Innovation Science and Technology Foundation, Tirupati, DRDO, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and the Indian Science Congress Association for their support in associating themselves with this conference. I believe that the ICONN 2023 is going to be the most comprehensive conference focused on the various aspects of advances in nanoscience and nanotechnology and their applications. I take great pleasure to be part of the inaugural function. Starting with the American physicist and Nobel Prize laureate, Richard Feynman, introducing the concept of nanotechnology in 1959 through a lecture titled "There is Plenty of Room at the Bottom" at the California Institute of Technology. And now it's almost 62 years. Astonishing advancements and lot of applications leading to societal implications have taken place. We all know that nanoscience and nanotechnology has become the fundamental impetus to advancements in industrial applications and medical devices, such as diagnostic biosensors, drug delivery systems, and imaging probes. For example, in the food industry, nanomaterials have been exploited to increase drastically the production, packaging, shelf life, and bioavailability of nutrients. In contrast, zinc oxide nanostructures display antimicrobial activity against foodborne bacteria, and a plethora of different nanomaterials are nowadays used for diagnostic purposes, as food sensors to detect food quality and safety. Nanomaterials are being used to build a new generation of solar cells, hydrogen fuel cells, and novel hydrogen storage systems capable of delivering clean energy to countries still reliant on traditional non-renewable contaminating fuels. However, the most significant advances in nanotechnology fall in the broad field of biomedicine and especially in cancer therapy. The government of India launched a mission on nanoscience and technology called as Nano Mission in May 2007. Recognizing the success of Nano Mission, the Union Cabinet accorded approval for continuation of the Nano Mission with an allocation of rupees 650 crore, which has now been enhanced to rupees 1,000. The Department of Science and Technology is a nodal agency for implementing the Nano Mission. As a result of the efforts led by the Nano Mission, today, India is amongst the top 5 nations in the world in terms of scientific publications in nanoscience and technology. The Nano Mission itself has resulted in about 5,000 research papers and about 900 PhD, and also some useful products like nano hydrogel based eye drops, pesticide removal technology for drinking water, water filters for arsenic and fluoride removal, nano silver based antimicrobial textile coating, etc. Similarly, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has taken several major initiatives for the promotion of nanoelectronics research and innovation in the country. Major nanoelectronics centers of international standards have been established at premier institutes in the country. The state-of-the-art nanofabrication facilities at these centers have become very popular both in India and abroad. Also, a flagship program of the ministry, Indian Nanoelectronics Users Program Idea to Innovation, INUP, I2I, initiated by the ministry, is being implemented at Center of Excellence in Nanoelectronics at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and many IITs, and has provided a great opportunity for R&D community all over the country for accessing state-of-the-art nanofabrication facilities for undertaking research and skill development in nanoelectronics. Sensing the scope of nanotechnology, SRMIST invested rupees 200 crore sometime in 2007 to open Nanotechnology Research Center, in short NRC. NRC has expanded its state-of-the-art facilities over the years and now possesses the most advanced equipments for undertaking research and consultancy in the area of nanoscience and nanotech. I take this opportunity to extend an open invitation to all the dignitaries, delegates, and participants to visit our center and explore opportunities for meaningful collaborations for mutual benefit. We are excited by this opportunity of hosting internationally renowned top-tier scientists from academia and industry who will share their vast expertise with the participants. I thank all of you for your participation. I believe that this ICONN 2023 will help in enhancing the opportunities for association with international and national institutes and organizations, and also evolve as one of the major unique brand of scientific event happening at SRMIST Katangulam. I wish everyone a fruitful and enjoyable scientific exchange. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words and informative highlights. It is a great moment that we have film station offered by Professor Kazuki Izumi, President, Shizuoka University. We would like to hear from him.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kazuki Hizume. the president of Shizuoka University. I'm delighted to deliver a welcome speech for the 7th International Conference on Nanoscience and Nanotechnology, ICONN 2023, which is organized at the SRM Institute of Science and Technology, SRMIST, India. It's an honor for Shizuoka University to join the hands with SRMIST in the academic and research activities. Shizuoka University has currently 6 faculties, such as humanities and social sciences, education, informatics, science, engineering, and agriculture, and the School of Regional Development. From this April, Faculty of Global Interdisciplinary Science and Innovation will be established in order to educate students who can construct a future society comprehensively on a global scale with broad perspectives. There are 5 graduate schools for master and doctoral course. In addition to that, we have a Research Institute of Electronics and a Research Institute of Green Science and Technology to promote the research activity. Shizuoka University's staff and the students uphold the philosophy of freedom and enlightenment as a mainstay of education, research, and collaboration with society, industry, and overseas. Collaboration between Shizuoka University and SRMIST started in 2009 before the Memorandum of Understanding was signed in 2014. Since then, the colleagues in both universities have been fostering the relationship steadily, which have led to the promotion of double degree program, DDP, in the doctoral course and the exchange program of students. This collaboration is now one of the most active frameworks among the collaborations between the other foreign universities and Shizuoka University. Shizuoka University has organized Inter-Academia Asia Conference since 2014. In 2016, the 3rd conference was held in India, and the community of Asian higher education institutions from Japan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia gathered together and discussed the global education and research at SRMIST. Shizuoka University is grateful to SRMIST for their tremendous support as host of many joint conferences, including ICONN. I hope that all the speakers and researchers will enjoy the scientific discussions and strengthen the collaboration. Finally, I'd like to express my sincere thanks to our conference chair, Professor Dr. John Tilba-Digal, all staff of organizing committee and participants. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir, for such nice words from you. I would now request Dr. A. Karthikeyan, Head of the Department, Physics and Nanotechnology, SRMIST, to deliver the oath of thanks.
Respected dignitaries, it gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for the inaugural function of ICONN 2023. ICONN 2023 has become a flagship conference for the scientists and researchers working in the field of nanoscience and nanotechnology. At the outset, it's my pride to thank Professor Chennupati Jagdish, AC, President, Australian Academy of Sciences, Australian National University, for delivering the inaugural address. Thank you, sir. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Professor Kazuki Izume, President, Shizuoka University, for offering the felicitations for ICON 2023. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor C. Muttamil Chelvan, who has been our motivating force for releasing the conference proceedings. I would like to thank Professor T.V. Gopal, Dean, College of Engineering and Technology, who have constantly supported and encouraged us in all the aspects for successful conduct of this conference. I record my gratitude to Professor D. John Kribadigal, Dean Sciences and convener of ICON 2023 for his meticulous planning and encouragement. It's my privilege to thank our collaborators, Shizuoka University, Japan, GNS New Zealand, National Chatham University Taiwan, University of Romtor, Bergata Italy, ACCMS Japan, Indian Ceramic Society, Indian Physics Association, Solar Energy Society of India, Innovation, Science and Technology Foundation Tirupati, and Springer Nature. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to invited speakers, delegates who have consented to be part of the conference across the globe. I would like to thank our co-sponsors, Defense Research Development Organization, DRDO, Government of India, Council of Scientific, Industrial and Research, Government of India, and Indian Science Congress Association. I hope the ICON would be an eye-opener for the people working in the field of nanoscience and nanotechnology. Heartfelt thanks to our colleagues and research scholars, students, and management, ITKM, and all the supporting forces for this conference. Wishing all the best for the fine journey towards great learning and knowledge sharing in this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. This brings us to the close of the inaugural function and to mark the beginning of ICON 2023. We request one and all to raise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all. Good morning to all and good morning from India to the dignitaries across the globe. In few minutes, we will be starting the first session, that is keynote lecture, that will be delivered by Professor Yoshimasa Kabata, Shizuoka University, Japan, followed by the keynote lecture 1 and keynote lecture 2, non-enzymatic glucose detection utilizing organic transistor functionalized with an artificial receptor by Professor Chioshi Minami, the University of Tokyo, Japan, followed by the third keynote lecture will be delivered by Professor Jay Kumar, Vice Chancellor, Madurai Kamaraj University. Thank you all. That we will be starting the keynote session here at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, one and all. Have a nice day. We'll start the next session at sharp 10 a.m.
Good morning, Professor. Welcome. Good morning, Professor. Are you able to hear me? Shimasa Kawata, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. No,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining. Professor
thank you very much.
Toru Awaki-san.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you very much
Good
for joining. Good morning.
good morning. Good morning to one and all. I am Dr. Geeta from Department of Physics and Nanotechnology, SRM IST. It's my pleasure to invite the session chairperson, Professor Toru Akoi, Research Institute of Electronics, Department of Nanovision Technology, Shizuoka University, Japan. His major research areas includes development of the imaging devices, system and its application for invisible light, especially as X-ray, gamma ray, and neutron from the base to practical use. He has published various international journals with citations more than 26,000 with a H index of 61. And he is a member of various organizations, name a few, IEEE member and officer of an ANSI. With this few introduction, now I would like to invite Professor Toru Akoi to take over the session.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kind introductions. So my name is Toru Aoki from Shizuoka University, Japan. Okay, we will start the keynote lecture. So we will have 3 keynote lectures. We will start now. So 4 lectures. So keynote lecture is 45 minutes. So and we will push the bell, give the bell, first bell at 37th. And so 37 minutes. So and second bell is 40 minutes. And so discussion for 5 minutes. Okay. Let's move on. So first keynote lectures. First keynote lecture is from given by Professor Yoshimasa Kawata, Shizuoka University, Japan. So his presentation title is Research Activities and Promotion of University-Industry Collaboration in Shizuoka University. So please share the slides and start. Please start, Kawata Sensei.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind introduction. And first of all, I greatly appreciate all of the organizing committees. And I share it is good chance to introduce our university. Can you see my slide? Okay.
Yes, Sensei, yes.
Okay. Okay. I introduce our university research activities and the promotion of university industry collaboration in Shizuoka University. Firstly, I introduce our university. Shizuoka University is located at the Shizuoka Prefecture. Here is Japan, and here is the Shizuoka Prefecture. Shizuoka Prefecture is the middle of the mainland of Japan. And we have 2 campuses. Here is Mount Fuji, and we have 2 campuses. One is the Shizuoka campus, and the other one is the Hamamatsu campus. And there is a Shinkansen, Super Express trains. And Mount Fuji is located here at a very nice views from our campus of our university of the Shizuoka campus. And yes, this is a view of the Mount Fuji from our campus. And another city, another campus is located at Hamamatsu City. And very industrial city of the Shizuoka city and also Hamamatsu city. We have a lot of many companies like a venture business company, and the photonics and electronics is very strong in this area, and the transportation and the music instrument. In the Shizuoka area, we have a lot of tea, #1 growth area of the teas, Japanese teas, and the tangerines and some fruits, and the medicine is a very large product area in this location. And also Hamama City, we have big companies like Yamaha Motors and also Hawaii Music Instruments. And there are many, Shizuoka area is a very interesting area, and we have a #1 product in Japan, like a mount which is not product, but this is a Japanese highest peak and world it was selected as a World Heritage Site in 2013 maybe. And green tea is also a very famous area. And tuna cans is also amount 99% is a product produced from this area. And plastic model like a Gundam and many other kind of the plastic models was produced here. And the piano shipment was 100% separate from this area, and motorcycle is 45%. And the J-League soccer players, soccer team was located here. Two soccer team was located here. And this is a plastic model of the Gundam. And this we produced, our prefecture produced this kind of the product. And the Hamamatsu City, the Hamamatsu City is a very industrial city. And I explain about the Hamamatsu City. And there are many global companies in Hamamatsu City, and the location is just the middle of Tokyo and Osaka. And the location area is the second largest city in Japan, and population is 800,000, around 800,000. And Hamamatsu City is located here. And many big company was born here, this area, like Yamaha Trucks. Yamaha is a founder of the Yamaha music instrument. And Koichi Kawai is also founder of the Kawai music instrument. And the Toyota is also born in this area. And Suzuki, Michio Suzuki is a founder of Suzuki Motors. And Honda is also produced, born in this area. And Yamaha Motors is also founded this area. And this is our the professor of our university, Kenjiro Takanagi. He was firstly invented all electrical TV system, and his successors produced the Hamamatsu Photonics. So this area is a very industrial city, and there are many global companies. I mean, the headquarters located in this area. And I briefly introduce our university. Our university has 6 faculties. Shizuoka University has 6 faculties. One, humanities, education, informatics, science, engineering, and agriculture. These are undergraduate faculties. And graduate schools, there is a master course. We have 6 master course, and PhD course. We have 2 courses. One is a GSST and also medical photonics. And we also have a professional graduate school for teacher education. And we also have a 2 research institutes. One is Electronics Research Institute of Electronics and Research Institute of Green Science and Technologies. And the number of students around totally 100,000. 10,000. Undergraduate is 8,500, and master course is 1,300, and doctor course is 233, around 250 members. Yep, these are our university, the scale of our university. And a staff member is 1,000, around 1,000. And we have I already explained about we have two campuses. One is located at the Shizuoka city, we call Shizuoka campus, and the other one is located at the Hamamatsu city, we call Hamamatsu campus. And our university is very famous as a birthplace of the all electric TV system. The professor Kenjiro Takayanagi invented this all electrical TV system in 1926, and after that, Research Institute of Electronics was founded in 1965. This is the first electric TV system. Was invented in 1926. Nipple disc as a TV camera and modified brown tube as a display. This was invented by Professor Takayanagi in our university. And at that, the scanning line was 40 lines, and the television picture rate was 14 per second. This is the first image developed by Professor Takayanagi. And after that, many kind of the research was continuously. We have developed many kind of the research. The 1965 foundation, the Research Institute of Electronics founded, and we started knowledge cluster initiative. And 2002, 21st century COE program was fostered in our university. And mainly this was done by Research Institute of Electronics. And 2004, Regional Innovative Strategies Support Program was started, and the International Innovative Hub Program was started, and the COI Story was started in 2013. And now program for building a regional innovative ecosystem was now running. And we have a lot of collaboration with this area, like Hamamatsu Photonics and the Graduate School of the Creative New Photonics Industries, and the Hamamatsu University School of Medicine, and the Shizuoka University. So we founded Innovative Photonics Evaluation Research Center with those collaborators. And current most impressive achievement is we developed our university, the Research Institute of Electronics developed 8K super high vision system. They developed 1914, and they transfer this technology to the NHK, and test broadcasting start for the Olympic 2020. So maybe you saw the very high quality image of the Olympic 2020. This camera was developed by our university and collaboration with NHK. So this is the most currently most impressive development in our university. And we have a research collaboration with other Hamamatsu Photonics and also other universities. So we developed now Innovative Photonics Evolution Research Center. We call IPAC. This research institute was developed by, founded by to realize affluent society community continuously by manipulating light freely beyond the space and time. So this was this building was built by a CY program by Japanese Education Ministry of Japanese Education. So currently, these 4 members are our university, Shizuoka University, Hamamatsu University School of Medicine, and the graduate school for the creative new photonics industries, and the Hamamatsu Photonics members collaboratively doing a research in this building. So this building is located in the Hamamatsu campus. And we innovative caused by the Research Institute of Electronics. Now we Shizuoka University doing a very wide range, wide spectrum range researches. From the one is X-ray CT labs and imaging device labs, and the color fidelity labs, and the remote reproduction labs, and near infrared light spectroscopy labs, and terahertz device. We are now doing a research from X-ray to the terahertz. So the spectrum is very, very wide, and we also do this research on the visible region and also invisible region. So this is a challenge in the unexpected boundary area beyond the clouds. So we are now developing collaborative research, doing this kind of research. This is mainly during the Research Institute of the Electronics. And we are now doing a regional innovative ecosystem. This project aims to realize the formation of Japanese style innovative ecosystem and the regional revitalization by promoting commercialization projects that have a large social impact and contribute to the growth of the region and the increase of the national wealth. So we, in this project, we established a business production team at the university and set a milestone of the exit target for formulate development of commercialization plan based on the market and patent analysis, and exploring technology seeds and create a successful model to contribute to the regional realization by making the maximum use of the national knowledge and the networks. So this is the region university. We have a university, and we have a this is some cities and municipalities, and we have a closely collaborating, and we are now developing exit goals and the technology transfer to strategy partners and communicate commercialization by local small and medium enterprises and creation and growth to the startup companies. Our university is also very interesting to the create and growth of the startup companies. This is a regional innovative ecosystem selected by Ministry of Education in Japan. So totally, we have 21 project. So here is our city, and the other city is selected like this. And sorry, this is too small, maybe. So this is a project, regional innovative ecosystem we are now developing. So one is for human-different medicine cares, medical cares, and the diagnostic and the treatment, and the treatment is for medicine. And the basic technology project, and the other one is a basic project technology project. And we collaborated with many companies, and also we now developing the many technologies for imaging and other sensors, and also photonics and electronics. So, and the commercialization project as a commercialization project, we minimally one is a minimally invasive 3D endoscopes and high time resolution and high color faithful reproduction camera unit for endoscopes was developed, and this technology was combined to the minimally invasive 3D endoscopes. And the NIRS technologies, near-infrared spectroscopy endoscope was also developed for tissue oxygenation sensors. So this technology is also combined to the endoscopes. So in this research, we developed the many kind of the technology, and we try to commercialize our achievement, our product to the in this project. And we also very interested in building startups. Now, our university is a 43 startup company, venture company was produced, was born from our university. This number 43 is very not so compared to the big university, but our local university, in the local university, this is a very big number. So I think that this is a very good achievement in our universities. And some company was very successful, doing a very successful achievement. So one is Brookman Technology. This company was Toppan brings Toppan M&A by Toppan companies. Toppan brings Brookman Technology on board as a subsidiary. So this is 2021. And this company was M&A companies. And this is they are making the very high sensitive and high quality cameras. And another one is digital photon counting X-ray CT. This company was developed by Professor Toru Aoki. Now is the chairman of this session. So this company now building the X-ray camera for two-dimensional camera for X-ray imager for X-ray tube X-ray, and they counted photon numbers, and they identified the materials, what kind of material was used in this object. So this is a very promising technology, and they are now making a company called Unseen. And X-ray color imaging was developed with these companies. So this company is a very promising as a next in our universities. And this is some newspapers. So I explain about this is the Brookman Technologies, representative of the developed by Shoji Kawahito, one of the professor of our university. And Brookman Technology was M&A by Toppan, March 2021. And so this is an Exavisions company. They listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange models. So this is also very promising company now, and also Unseen was raised a total of 2.11 billion yen in funding. So very promising company now. So some of our venture startup company born from our university is a very successfully developed, and also we are now producing many companies. Totally now 43 companies now developing. And our university is a very contribute to the western area of Shizuoka Prefecture. So Shizuoka Prefecture of the industrial structure is mainly transportation equipment. So we are now this is a unimodal type based on the transportation equipment. So we are now trying to multimodal, make a wider range. They make many type of the industries. So multimodal types based on the transportation equipment. So like aerospace, robotics, and healthcare, and the new industries. So to developing this kind of the technologies, we basically as a basic technology, we necessary to the photonics and the electronics, and we developed this technique to the innovative growth in industries. So we try to contribute this kind of the western area of the Shizuoka Prefecture to change the industrial structures. So as a one of the pride, we are now doing Act Fast. Act Fast. This is a European project called Act Fast, aimed to accelerate innovative ability of small and medium-sized enterprise. So this is a European project. So we are now trying to start this kind of the try to start this project in the Hamamatsu area with a collaboration with a company and also Hamamatsu cities and Hamamatsu prefectures, Shizuoka prefectures. So with a collaboration with many company and also many Hamamatsu city and Shizuoka prefecture, we try to start this kind of the project. We call this system, this project as ASAP in Hamamatsu to accelerate innovative ability of the small and medium-sized enterprise. We help SME to access to expert knowledge and equipment possessed by advanced photonic-related research facility of SMEs can utilize photonics application technologies. So we support the small and medium-sized enterprise companies to build a prototype and to use photonics and electronics technology in this project. So especially we support developing the prototype for small and medium-sized enterprise, utilize fundamental technology and facilities of the research institution. And we accelerate innovative, promote investment acquisition and employment from venture capital. So we call this system, this project as ASAP, Access Center for Innovative Solution, Action, and Professionals. So this is a very, we currently, I'm not so sure, but more than 10 projects was currently running with this, under this project. So this is some triament. So project, some example of the development. So maybe a production standardization project of a low potassium melon, Dr. Melon utilize IoT and IP light strength project for TSK electromagnetic induction heating device. Some of this kind of the project we are now supported. And this is a innovation ecosystem in the Hamamatsu area. So our university has a research institute of electronics, and the research institute of electronics is a very strong at the photonics and electronics. And we are technology, we have some development of technology of the super visual imaging and advanced photonics. So, and we also have Hamamatsu area also Hamamatsu University School of Medicine. So we have a strong collaboration with the Hamamatsu University School of Medicine. So we are now developing the photomedicine area and medical device design. So we are now developing the need-oriented research for problem solving. So Hamamatsu University School of Medicine, we are strong. We are developing collaboration with the Hamamatsu University School of Medicine, and the Shizuoka University has a strong collaboration. And with this fundamental research achievement, we try to commercialization and for as one example, some example, minimally invasive 3D endoscope was developed, and also high resolution, high color reproduction camera for endoscope was developed. And creation training for startup, and the startup company was now very currently many company was produced. And the new industry creation, we healthcare and medicine, and the new agriculture. Some informatics technology is applied to the agriculture. So we developed some system for the agriculture, and the environmental energy, and the new transportation system. So with Hamamatsu area is a very industrious city and very collaborating area, and Hamamatsu city also very doing many support to the startup companies and starting the new industry. So this area is a very interesting area to start the new technologies. So, and this is one of the data set. So this data set was announced by a World Intellectual Property Organization. This is a Global Innovative Index 2020. So this is a top 100 cluster ranking. In this ranking, Hamamatsu area was selected as 86 ranking. And also ranking of the science and technology intensity. Hamamatsu area is 32 in the world. So this area is a very interesting and very strength to the science and doing a science technology and doing commercialization of those technologies. So this here is a very interesting area, and so our university is now supporting and doing research with many companies, and we are very interested in to build a new company startup companies. So we have two national university cooperation in this university in this area. One is the Shizuoka University, and the other one is the Hamamatsu University School of Medicine. These two universities have a strong collaboration, and we are now discussing about the unification and also the organization with these two universities. So thank you very much for your kind attention. This is my talk. This is my talk, and I introduce our research. So that's all.
Okay.
These are my questions. Thank you very much. Maybe time is too short. Sorry.
Okay.
Presentation
Thank you very much, Kawata Sensei. So we will start discussion, question and discussions. So if so, you have a question. So what kind of process is needed?
Now there are certain participants, they have raised their hands. So can we allow them to ask the question, Sensei?
Sorry?
Yeah. There are some participants, they wanted to have some interaction.
Yeah.
So can we allow them?
Yeah. How to, this one is
DP Malar.
DP, Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so Dr. P. Mara, so do you have some questions? Please mute off. Now, so your mic is muted.
Dr. Malar, can you unmute?
Dr. Mara?
Dr. Malar ma'am, can you please unmute?
Or you can text. Okay, we have another participant.
Okay.
Vani.
Bani. Dr. Bani, so could you give us some questions? So
Hi, sir.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's audible.
Yes,
Yes,
I can.
ma'am, it is audible.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm basically a background of agriculture. So any innovative research related to photon study done in any plant or any crop or any forest trees?
Okay, so we our university has a informatics department of the faculty of informatics. So informatics has a collaboration with agriculture, and they developed automatically feed some waters and some waters and also some other materials automatically, and also they observed the growing of the product, some agriculture product, and they with a combination of the artificial intelligence, so they making the very high quality agriculture product. So with some sensors and also cameras, and they observing the automatically with collaboration with informatics professors. Is it okay?
So it's basically a post-harvest study related thing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So also sorry. So another question and comment. So if you have a comment and question, so please use the this button. So
raise hand.
Raise hand. ないですかね。
ありがとうございました。
Professor, I have a question.
Please.
Yeah. While showing that about 8K that SHV TV that was used for telecasting the Olympics. So any collaboration with any international company for the production of the same or transfer of the technology?
Sorry, I'm not. Sorry, could you repeat the question again? Sorry.
No, that high definition TV 8K SHV, which was that used for telecasting the Olympics 2020. As you said, is it that technology transfer has happened to any industry?
I think the Professor Kawahito developed a high definition, super high vision TV system and for camera system. So they developed with NHK, maybe NHK, through NHK, they have a collaboration with the company. Sorry, I'm not so sure about that point. With a collaboration with other companies. And Pulkman Technology, they started by Professor Kawahito also managed about that part, I think. Sorry, I'm not so sure about that part.
Thank you, Sensei.
Okay. Thank you very much. So any other question or comments? If no, thank speaker again. ありがとうございました。川田先生。
Thank you very much. どうもありがとうございました。Thank you very much for your kind attention. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's move. Let's move to next keynote lectures. So next lecture is given by Professor Tsuyoshi Minami, from the Tokyo, the University of the Tokyo, Japan. So please share and start. Please share the slide and start the lecture. So,
okay, thank you.
南先生、お願いします。
ありがとうございます。I'll just share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for giving the opportunity to talk about my current research here. I'm so happy to honor to have such like lecture in the SRM University. So today, I would like to talk about non-enzymatic glucose detection utilizing the organ transistor function with an artificial receptor. So as you can see, I would like to talk about the sensing project. So the first, I'd like to mention about what is the sensors, definition of sensors. So you might know the sensor very much, but I briefly mention what is the sensor here. First, analyte information exists and the target information exists. And then the receptor, so detection portion can capture such information, and then the transducer unit can transduce such information to the output signal. In the case of the sensor, the two types of sensors exist. The one of them are physical sensors. For example, like the thermometer or blood pressure sensor, that is like physical sensors. While in the case of like the chemical information, so two types of sensors also exist. So chemical sensor and biosensors. If you use the artificial materials as a detection portion, in this case, we call as a chemical sensors. While if you use an antibody or enzymes, such like biogenic materials used as a receptor unit, so that's like device we call as a biosensor. That means if you use target molecules in the biomolecules, while if you use the artificial material to capture the analyte, in this case is a chemical sensor, not biosensor. Okay, so this is a definition of the chemical sensor and biosensors. So the chemical sensors and biosensors are very important. So why? Here is the right reason. So as you might know, the chemical information is significantly related to our daily life, drugs, food, vegetables, and drink, and environmental water. However, as you can imagine, that chemical sensors are not realized in contrast to the physical sensors in general life. So at your phone, so you can find thermometer, right? And you might also have the blood pressure sensor, but not so many type of chemical sensors exist at your phone. Thus, we have to think that how can we realize many type of chemical sensor or biosensor at your phone? So that's I try to realize such like the chemical sensors for like the general people. So and also this is a definition of like chemical sensor by the IPAC. So you might know the IPAC is the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So in that union, in the paper, on the paper, the chemical sensor defined as like that. So chemical sensor is a device that transforms the chemical information ranging from the concentration of a specific sample component to total composition analysis. So that means, so you have to detect target molecules from the mixture of tons of the mixture of like the analyzed samples, as well as the quantitative, not only qualitative, quantitative detection of target molecules are very important. Thus, so if we want to realize a chemical sensor, we have to think about such like the parameters. So the target molecules, in the case of the chemical sensors, so biomarkers for diagnosis, and also toxic species for environmental assessment, and taste component for food analysis, and so on. So many types of sensors should exist. And also to evaluate like the chemical sensors. So here, receptor and reporter. So sensitivity, selectivity, response speed, and stability are very important. And the output signal, optical, electrochemical, electric, or many type of output signal could be used. But the easiest one is electrical detection or optical detection. Thus, I'm trying to develop an electronic device-based chemical sensor, especially based on one TFT. So, but as I said, the most important one point is easy to use chemical sensors. If like that, it's too complicated devices, nobody can use it. For example, so this is not sensor, but if you want to obtain the chemical information, for example, hospital or university, such like complicated devices exist. For example, gas chromatography, or mass spec, atomic absorption spectrometry, or LC mass, and so on. So nobody complained that. Also like me, I don't want to complain such like the accuracy and also like the reliability of such like the devices. I don't want to complain anything about that one. However, as you can see, the prices and also like such a huge device, you cannot put them on to your phone. So that means the researchers can analyze such chemical information based such instrument, but nobody for general people cannot use, at least my mom doesn't know how to use such machines. So in that case, so small size device recording system without using large apparatuses and the quality, quantity, detectability are very important if you want to realize the chemical sensors. Thus, as I mentioned that I am focusing on the organic field effect transistor, OFETs. So here is like the general explanation of the organic FETs. So in the case of the FET, you might know like the 3 electrode exist. So in the case diode is a 2 electrode, but while FET is 3 electrode. Source, drain, and gate electrode. And then semiconducting layer are made of the pi conjugated organic materials, such as pentacene, polysilicon derivatives, and so on. So such like the organic material can be fabricated on the flexible like the substrate. Thus flexible like display can be realized. And also the organic FETs, like current between source and drain in the semiconductor layer can be manipulated by the gate voltage. For example, here is a relationship between the gate voltage and drain current. As you can see, when we do not apply the gate voltage, just like such like noise observed, while after apply gate voltage, significant increase of the drain current observed. So this is on state and this is off state. So 0 and 1 signal can be generated. Thus, electrical engineers, as I mentioned, can fabricate flexible displays based on the such like the circuit and so on, and alpha tag and so on. But I'm a chemist, I'm not electrical engineers, so I don't know how to fabricate flexible displays. Why? I thought such device can be used for the chemical sensors. Why? Here the reason. So as I mentioned, only FET can fabricate the circuits. So that means the sensor, transducer, and data processing system could be on one chip. Very compact sensor device could be realized. And also OFETs, the devices can be fabricated using printing technology, such as inkjet printers. So I don't know too much the detail or like the, for example, like the lithography, so much and so on. But I know how to use an inkjet printer. I have printed, for example, greeting card. So that in that sense, even though I am a chemist, the organic FETs are relatively easy to fabricate by chemists and also general people. So thus, I thought the organic FET is one of the best device for a chemical sensing application. I might try to develop such sensor device based on the organic FET. So you might know like FET very much, so that I don't want to too much explain the details, but today I show many of like FET characteristics. Just briefly like to mention about what is like the FET characteristics. So two type characteristics exist. So one of them output and the second one is the transfer characteristics. Because like as I said, 3 electrodes exist and then 2 type voltage we can apply. So drain voltage and gate voltage. And the y-axis is the drain current. As you can see that when you apply the voltage, so as you can see the nonlinear saturation curve should be observed in the case of the FET characteristics. That's if you want to say that fabricated devices like the field effect transistor, so that we have to observe such nonlinear saturation curve applying the voltage. And here is one the equation for like transfer characteristics. So I is a drain current and double L is like the width and the length of the channel, so that is device. And these are fixed like parameters. But this like VTH, threshold voltage, is the one important parameter to read out chemical information. So the VTH, as you can see, like in the case transfer characteristics, so when you make a such relationship between the drain current and voltage and make a root of such saturation curve, you can see such linear line for like the transfer characteristics. And this is like the kind of threshold voltage can observe such switching properties. So such like the parameter can be used for the reading out molecular recognition phenomena. So by using such 2 parameters, we try to read out chemical information on like for the chemical sensing applications. So how can we use such like organic FET as a chemical sensor devices? So one of the easiest devices that you can drop the aqueous solution on like organic semiconductor layer or gate dielectric layer. However, so as you might know, this is an electric device, and so the organic semiconductor material are relatively fragile against the water. Thus, if you simply drop the aqueous solution on the semiconductor layer, the device is easily be broken. Thus, to avoid such problem, so roughly 9 years ago, I proposed like extended gate type organic FET. So this is like the schematic illustration of the device structure is here. So a gate electrode is partially extended, and then the detection portion is a partially extended gate electrode. On the partially extended electrode, we functionalize the molecular material, and also aqueous solution are dropped onto the partially extended gate electrode. In this case, semiconductor layer is completely separated from the aqueous solution. Thus, relatively stable signal can be achieved. So here is a schematic illustration of the extended type organic FET. So as I said on the electrode, we functionalize the molecular recognition material. In this case, is for example glucose receptor. Now, once for example charge species exists in the aqueous solution, so receptor can capture target molecule, and then surface potential on the electrode can be shifted, and then finally we could see the shift of changes of the channel conductance, the charge transport. Then, as I mentioned, that the shift of the threshold voltage or like drain current can be observed. So by using such like the phenomena, we can read out capturing the glucose on the electrode, even though we do not use a fluorescence or optical change and so on. So here is a schematic illustration for like the detection mechanism. So as I said, the partially extended gate electrode functional with like the molecular materials and the target molecule if it exists. So the such receptor capture target molecules. Here is a relationship between the target concentration and the shift of the threshold voltage drain current. As you can see, that when we increase the concentration of target molecules, we could observe the shift of like transfer characteristics or output characteristics. And then according to the concentration, we can see the such like the linear relationship. While if you add excess amount of the target molecules, the almost all receptors are fully captured target molecule. Thus, that we could not see any significant shift or shift of transfer output characteristics. Thus, if you successfully detect target molecules, we must observe such saturation curve. So if you observe such saturation curve, that means it's not like the such response not derived from the drift of the device. So this is a detection of the molecular recognition phenomena. So this is actually fabric device for like the sensing application. The sensing portion, so in the sensing portion, as I said, functional with the molecular recognition layer on the X-engaged electrode. The device is a fabricated plastic film. And then, so here is a detection portion. As you see, is like drive unit. And the semiconductor layer, I employ the pi-conjugated polymer materials, PBTTT, because so why did I say such material? Because such like the material can be dissolved in the organic solvent, can make ink. So you can simply drop such like the ink on the device. So then we can use solution processes to fabricate the electric devices. And also to decrease operation voltage, so we employ the tetraethyl acid and aluminum oxide layer as a dielectric material. So why do we need to decrease the operation voltage? Because as you might know, like if you apply too high voltage to the aqueous solution, electrolysis of the water can be happening. So that's to avoid such electrochemical reaction in the aqueous solution. We must decrease the operation voltage as much as possible. So such like the sulfur monolayer type dielectric material can make a very thin solid state dielectric layer. Thus we can increase capacitance so that we can decrease the operation voltage even though organic semiconductor materials. So according to such like the device structure, we fabricate devices. I also participated by the fluorinated polymer. So this is a total scheme of fabrication of FET. Actually, 2 days is enough to fabricate device, not so like a complicated procedure. So on substrate, after wash it, so by vacuum deposition aluminum oxide and reactive ion etching and the spin coating of the fluorinated polymer and by shadow mask, we made a pattern and the gate dielectric layer we formed. And on the gate dielectric layer, we made a gold electrode and source and drain electrode and semiconductor layer. We make a solution processes and we fabricated the site layer as a passivation layer. So here is like today I'd like to mention about the glucose sensing. So that is the main target of glucose. As you might know, I guess in not only Japan and also in India, so many patients, diabetes patients now like dramatically the number of the diabetes patients are increasing. Thus now like many countries wants to avoid, also wants to monitor like the glucose concentration in our body. So as you know, the one like succeeded biosensor is a glucose sensor. As you might know at your phone, as you could find, as you might know, like you could find at your phone. But current commercial available like the glucose sensor is an enzymatic sensor. So that means biogenerated material used for like detection for to detect the glucose. So this case is selectivity and sensitivity is pretty much good to detect in very complicated samples, but like the interference effect by the oxidation of electrochemical active species, because the many component and electrochemically like the active compound exists. So like such noise could be increased and the instability of the enzyme, because this is a biogenerated materials, so it's not so stable and against like physical or chemical stimuli. So you could not use a long-term like such sensing application if you use enzymatic sensors. Thus, I decided to develop the unorganic FET-based non-enzymatic sensor for the detection of glucose in body fluid. So we decided to functionize the phenylboric acid. So that is like you might know this is the artificial lectin to capture the target to capture glucose. So once like glucose captured by boric acid, so especially boronate can be generated on like a boron center. So even though glucose is a neutral electrically neutral species, after once captured by such like boric acid, so minus ion could be generated on like the receptor. Such minus charge species can be read out by the organic FET as a changing of the surface potential. So by using such sensor devices and try to detect target molecules. So the to functionize boric acid on like the electrode, the surface monolayer of the boric acid can be formed on the Go electrode because such thiol unit. So in the boric acid exists, and then S and AU interaction are relatively strong. So that's the gold and the sulfur interaction can fix the such like boric acid on the gold electrode. Then we could detect like target glucose fish who could achieve target glucose. So then we decide to characterize after fabricate device. Then we try to characterize like our fabricate devices. First, we have to know how much like target, how much receptor exists on the Go electrode. So this is that. So we have to check density of like the receptor on Go electrode. Thus, we decide to apply the linear sleep voltammetry (LS) with our electrochemical method. So in this method, by using LSV, we can, after we function Go electrode, we can reduce the such thiol unit at the thiol rate, and then remove the such receptor on the Go surface. So such reduction peak we could observe by LSV. According to such like area of like the LSV peak, we could estimate the molecular number of molecules on the Go electrode. Estimated molecular density is 1.1 times 10 to the minus 9 mole per square centimeter. Relatively high density of the boric acid can be functionalized on the Go electrode. And also, like the not only like the LSV, so also we should confirm the boric acid. We also confirm by using this method to confirm the boric acid exists on the Go electrode. So XPS clearly show the boron peak on the Go surface, and also like the photoelectron EV spectroscopy, the work function shift of Go was observed by after the functionalization of the boronic acid. So that means the work function shift of the Go electrode means like the such organic compound functioning on the Go electrode. And the wettability test also clearly show that such like the hydrophobicity of like Go electrode was increased by after the functionalization of the Go electrode. So because the aromatic compound of the boric acid can increase the hydrophobicity of the Go electrode. Thus, as you can see, like overall, we successfully like observed the functionalization of the Go electrode by boric acid by this similar method. So after that, so we try to detect like the glucose and phosphate buffer solution. So as you can see, when we increase the concentration of the glucose, we could observe shift of the transistor characteristics. So that like positive shift means like the negatively charged species exists on the Go surface. And also here is like the gate leak voltage very low. That means a relatively stable signal we could obtain. And you can see like the in comparison to fructose response, so glucose response is relatively strong. So that's we evaluated the selectivity for the saccharide. So the highest response was observed the glucose. So as you can see, like the this pink one, pink circle one is a glucose response. So galactose, fructose, mannose relatively weakest response. So we could achieve like the highest response to the glucose. So, but the important point is that interesting point is you can see the only in the case of only glucose, you could see the sigmoidal response. Otherwise, not we can observe signal response, but only glucose can show signal response. So this, from the viewpoint of the molecular recognition chemistry, such phenomena is a very interesting. So thus we try to evaluate the reason why we could observe such sigmoidal response. So we decide to decrease the density of the boric acid on the Go electrode. So in this case, you can see like the when we mix with the benzene thiol and the 4 molecular boric acid, like 1-to-1 molar ratio, so to decrease the density of the boric acid. So we could not observe the such sigmoidal response. That means this is a kind. So from the from the like the viewpoint of molecular information chemistry, this is allosteric effect. That means like the cooperative recognition could be achieved on the gold surface. For example, fructose or other like saccharide can show 1-to-1 binding, while like glucose, in the case of 2-to-1 binding, could be observed by increasing concentration target molecules. So this 2-to-1 binding response can make a highest response to the glucose. So actually, like this bisphosphonate complex is an important key, like to achieve the glucose selectivity. And also, like Professor Hayashida, who is a president of the Sophia University in Japan, also previously reported such like the too dense boric acid can make 2-to-1 binding for a glucose, and then selective detection we could achieve it. So that's like on the gold surface, when we increase the concentration or density of like boric acid, we could achieve such selective detection for glucose. So the previous case was like the phosphate buffer solution, but I really want to achieve the real human blood plasma sample. That to avoid such like to achieve such like the complicated samples detection, we decided also functional graphene oxide on the organic transistor devices. So as I said, artificial receptor boric acid could show like the response to the glucose. But this report was like the idea like the buffer solution, phosphate buffer solution. It does not contain like human real blood sample. But as I said, I want to achieve the real sample analysis, human blood sample, and so on. So why? So like the human real blood sample is a difficult sample. So one of the reasons is like the many protein exists in the blood. So the protein, if the protein exists, so on the gold surface, the specific like the absorption on the gold surface could be happen. So protein has many of charge. So in that case, we could not obtain the signals because the protein can make many of type of like noise signals. So to avoid such absorption of the protein on the gold surface, we decide to functionize the gold surface with a graphene oxide to avoid like the adhesion of the protein on the gold surface. So in the case of the graphene oxide, so many carboxylate or like the carboxylate group or hydroxy group exists. So minus charge of like the graphene oxide can avoid the adhesion of the protein on the gold surface because the protein in the human blood sample usually have negatively charged. So electrical repulsion can be achieved. And then so we could avoid the protein absorption on the gold surface. Thus, we decide to functionalize not only the boric acid and the graphene oxide. And then, if we combine the such like graphene oxide, the boric acid, so we could achieve the artificial material-based chemical sensing for the human real blood plasma sample. If we could achieve the such like the like detection, is the first time to achieve the artificial material sensing for a human real blood sample by also like the combined with organic FET. So this is the first example if we could achieve it. So to increase the sensitivity, also we try to functionalize not only the gold, also like the gold nanostructure on the electrode we could functionalize it. So that means like such like a needle on the gold like electrode we could functionize by using chronoampere method. So in this case, we could increase not only sensitivity as well as we could also functionize the gold surface. We could functionize the graphene oxide on the gold nanostructures. Here is like the reason. For example, like electric field concentration based on the effect, after we put on the graphene oxide, so top of the needle plus charge, and then such like graphene oxide could exist on the top of the needle. So that's like we can avoid only fully we cover like graphene oxide. So we can function, it's not only graphene oxide and also the vacant space for the boric acid. So we could tune like the ratio of the graphene oxide and boric acid on the gold surface. So this is the surface of like the engaged electrode on the plastic film and gold nanostructure and also graphene oxide. As you can see, so this FESCM image, as you could see that like the gold nanostructure, so such you can see needle type structure exists on the gold surface, and those after we function on like graphene oxide on the gold nanostructure. So on the top of like the like such like needles, you can see this like cloudy, such like the this is a graphene oxide, the like cloudy type, such like the membrane exists. So to confirm such like the material is a graphene oxide, we also evaluate EDS mapping. You can see like the on the such like the portion over here is a relatively concentration carbon, and also like the oxygen relatively high, and we could not see like the significant peak from the gold. So this is like the graphene oxide. We function on the gold surface, and then we decide to we successfully combine the graphene oxide and boric acid on the gold surface. And so the density of like the boric acid also we re-evaluated. So because of the we functionize a graphene oxide gold surface, so the concentration of the boric acid is a bit low, but we also confirm like boric acid exists on the gold surface. So then by using such devices, we try to detect the target like the glucose in the sample. So for selectivity test, we could observe highest response to the glucose. As you can see, the highest response, this red circle one is the glucose, and other many like the similar component exists in the blood sample, but the other response are relatively low, and that means we could achieve the glucose detection in the human blood plasma sample. So here is like the real human blood plasma sample. So then, so we try to detect the glucose in the human blood plasma sample. So import first to confirm the effect of the graphene oxide for like sensing like ability, we evaluated like the boric acid attached gold nano electrode and also the boric acid graphene oxide attached gold electrode. So this is a shift of the VTH, and the blue one is without graphene oxide, and this is with like the graphene oxide. So this is time dependency of the drift of like devices. Even though we do not have like the glucose artificially, you can see like the drift of like transfer characteristics observed in the absence of the graphene oxide. So that means the physical adsorption protein happen on the gold surface. Thus, even though we do not like increase the glucose concentration blood sample, you can see the significant shift of like transfer characteristics according to time. While after we functionize the such like the graphene oxide on the gold surface, you can see the not significant response to like drift of like device we could achieve. So that means we could prevent like the physical absorption of the like the protein on the gold surface. And this is an expansion image of like the this like region. So slight shift of like the transfer characteristics could be achieved, could be observed. This is because the original human blood plasma has a glucose. Original glucose exists in the human blood. So this slight shift is roughly 4 millimolar of the glucose exists in the human blood. So the slight shift was observed, but not significant too much like drift of the device was not observed by using such our devices. Thus, with 100% human blood plasma, so that we try to take glucose. So when we increase the concentration of glucose in human blood, so you can see the shift of transfer characteristics observed, and then like according to glucose concentration, shift of the VTH are observed. So then to for example, confirm accuracy and to compare with the HPLC method, so that we decide to evaluate spike and recovery test. That is that we try to like evaluate the accuracy by using also HPLC method. So this is the actual glucose concentration, and also this is the predicted concentration of the glucose. Linear black line is the calibration line, and then this red one is the predicted concentration of glucose in the real human blood plasma sample. As you can see, such like that circle one exists on the almost a linear line, and this is like the recovery rate is almost very close to the 100%. So that means that even though like the human blood sample, human blood like plasma sample, so we could predict like the concentration glucose with high accuracy. So this is the first example that we could achieve the glucose detection in human blood plasma sample by using organic FET. So far is a static detection of target molecule, but finally you try to achieve the real-time detection of target like molecules by using microfluidic system. So the roughly 4 or 6 or like several 10 millimolar exists in sugar concentration, but also like in liver cell sample, like the like glucose digest like in like the liver. That's like some biologists or molecular biologists really want to monitor the glucose concentration in the liver cell samples. But to achieve such like monitoring or like the activity or metabolism in the liver cells, we have to achieve real-time monitoring, not only static detection. So to achieve such real-time monitoring of the glucose, we try to combine the like the organic FET with like a microfluidic system. So here is like the microfluidic organic FET based glucose sensor. This is extended gate type transistor, but on the like the extended gate electrode, we made a microfluidic chamber and attached on the both surfaces. So this is like the micro channel size. The height is 50 micron and the width is 100 micron. And the flow rate is 25 microliter per minute. This is for monitoring over liver cell samples. And then go surface functional with the boric acid. So to design the microfluidic channels, we employ the kind of simulation software, multi-fluidic software, the COMSOL. So that is like the simulation software, the microfluidics. So according to the such simulation software, we designed such like micro chamber. So 3 inlet and 1 outlet exist. And here is like the detection portion, and then you can see the red color, such like solution are distributed homogeneously in like microfluidic chamber. So that means reproducible and homogeneous detection of like and real-time monitoring of like glucose detection could be achieved by employing the microfluidic chamber with organic FET. So after like we designed such microfluidic chamber based on the COMSOL, we made such a microfluidic chamber made by the PDMS or dimethyl selection on like the such like kind of like the fabrication process. And then after we made PDMS device attached on the both surface, and then try to monitor like target glucose molecules. So this is like the real-time monitoring of like target like glucose in like the glucose by using the microfluidic chamber attached organic FET. So you can see like when we increase the glucose concentration, like we inject glucose, so dramatically we can see the shift changes of the drain current. But after we wash by the phosphate buffer, you can see that significant decrease of glucose. And this response reproducible means so that after like the this is like the quarterly this response totally depend on the glucose and also reproducible and also real-time monitoring glucose to be achieved. And this like shift this change of the drain current totally depend on the glucose concentration. When we decrease the concentration of glucose, the change of the drain current also like is significantly decreased. And the continuous change of glucose concentration also we could see like gradual change of drain current according to the glucose concentration. And gradual increase of glucose concentration like we also can see the gradual increase of glucose drain current. So random also injection also show a random like change of the glucose concentration. That means we could use such device for the chemical sense application of the liver cells. And also like after the metabolite glucose, like lactic acid can be generated. So that's we also try to detect like the lactate by using our organic FET. So real-time monitoring also lactic acid could be also achieved. So now that we are also, this is an ongoing project. So after we combined with biochip and also like organic FET. So by incubating as a liver cell, actually HepG2 cell, so the such HepG2 metabolite like the glucose and generate also lactic acid and so on. So now try to incubate such like the cells and try to monitor real-time like the metabolism of the HepG2 cell by using our fabricated device. So in touch like the monitoring device could be useful for like the biological application as well as like the monitoring of like the diabetes patients glucose concentration too. So I'd like to conclude my talk. So I try to develop like the glucose, try to develop the glucose sensor based on the flexible organic FET. Such like the device could be used for like keeping our health condition and also diabetes patient and also like the for biologists. So it could be used for like the monitoring of like the digest of like glucose by the liver cell samples. So I'd like to conclude my talk. So this is my current members. So unfortunately now the Indian student is not here, but I guess from August, April, from this autumn, so one Indian student will join. So like if you are interested in my research group, so now like my group from like Italy, France, US, China, or many countries, or Philippines, or many country students are joining my laboratory. So I appreciate if you are interested in my research topics, I am happy to work with you. And also I'd like to thank to my collaborator, Professor Nishina, who is a specialist in graphene oxide, and President Fuji. Now he is a president of University of Tokyo. He also like collaborated with me for like microfluidic device-based sensors. I'd like to thank to my collaborators. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Professor? Professor?
Hello, I can hear your voice.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Professor Akoi?
Sorry, sorry, I missed the meeting. Okay, Professor Bani, so please give a questions. Please unmute and so please give us. Professor Bani? Okay, I move the next question. So, Professor Jackです。あれ聞こえないかな Okay, so next question, sir. Professor, Galaxy?
Hello.
Hello?
Please unmute.
Yes, please unmute and give us a comment, question and comments. あれ誰も。あれProfessor Bani, Galaxy. So please unmute and so give.
Yeah. Hi, sir.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
audible? Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes, ma'am. Proceed.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, sir. Hi, sir. Sir, my question is about biocompatibility of biosensor. Kindly tell me 2 to 3 important points about biocompatibility, especially related to biosensor.
Okay, thank you very much. So far, we do not evaluate too much high toxicity of like the artificial material, but basically like the other like the also researcher evaluated like the toxicity of boronic acid. So far, like the boronic acid does not show so much significant like the toxicity for like the humans. So like the animals. So I guess such like the device should be fine with like the not so like low, not so low like biocompatibility, I guess. Is it okay?
Okay. Okay, maybe maybe okay. Okay. And next questions. Galaxy. Maybe no. Another one is Professor Elizabeth Paul. So please unmute and give questions. なかなかうまくいかないですね。No?
Hello.
Hello? Okay.
Professor, I have a question. Can I? Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Professor, that in the extended gate, where you are depositing your sensing layer on the electrode, when there is a strain developed, so that will also contribute to the signal. Will it contribute to the signal when there is a strain and it is fluxing the gate, extended gate?
Could you sorry the like the earphone also doesn't work so much. Could you say one more time? So the signal is like after detection signal. So what is the question?
Yeah, my question is the strain developed on the extended gate. Will it not affect the sensing signal?
So you want to know like for example, like the fabrication process or like the such like the reproducibility or like the detection.
Yeah.
I understand. So far, yes, actually like this device relatively, as I said, easy fabrication process, solution processes. Of course, like even like the undergrad student or like the part-time job person, like if I train on such a fabrication process, are relatively easy to fabricate because this is, for example, like the imprinting process. So that's even though like students can make a reproducible device. Of course, like if like it's not so high quality device can make a very bit noisy signal, but relatively so far like many students or like postdocs or not only postdocs, actually part-time job person also can generate as reproducible like results. So should be okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So it's okay. So okay. So one question. So Jagad this. I'm sorry. So
Hello.
Hello. So please give us your question.
I have one question. How can I improve the reliability of the chemical sensors?
Improve? So our sensor?
Yeah, reliability of the chemical sensors.
Okay, so thank you. So now, of course, as I said, this is the first time to like develop like the artificial material-based chemical sensor for human real samples. But now, like so if you want to use for like for human skin, so in this case, is now like our plastic film with the plastic film not so like the penetrate of the like moisture. So that's because in that case, we have to avoid like the penetrate moisture from skin, but try to capture target molecules. So like the improvement or like the substrate also we have to think about that.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Professor.
Okay, it's time. So, thank you very much for speak again. So,
先生、ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。すいません、私の操作がうまくいかなくて申し訳ありませんでした。Thank you very much. Okay, so, answer, okay, let's move on. Next, keynote lectures. Next lecture is given from Professor Kumar. So, from Madurai Kamaras University. Okay, please share slides and start your lectures. Professor Kumar? Oh. Oh.
Hello, sir.
Hello? Professor Kumar?
Yeah, he is there.
He's there.
Sir, is it audible, sir?
Professor Kumar, sir.
What the? そう、ここにいるよね。Sarah, Professor Kumar, so. Professor Kumar? Professor Kumar?
I think some connectivity issue. Just we are checking.
Okay.
Is it audible, sir? Professor Kumar, sir, audible, sir?
Hello, Professor, sir.
Some connectivity issue. Kindly wait, sir.
வாத்தியார் மேட்ச் லைவ் போகுதா என்னடா? சிவான போட்டோ போட்டுருக்காரு.
Sir, he will be connecting within 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he's connecting with the two devices.
Yeah. Now so connecting goes. Okay. Maybe okay. Professor Kumar?
Yes. Good morning.
Okay. So, please start your presentation and please share your slides.
So,
Okay.
is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. So thank you all for this wonderful opportunity, in particular the organizer, John and Karthi. We have moved forward in many areas of material science. When human beings were at the early stages, they started to look for fire so that they can keep the animals and other vulnerable beings out of their distance. And then
Sir?
subsequently, yeah.
You can put it in projection mode, sir.
Yeah, I have put it in projection mode. Okay. It says your screen share.
Yeah, it is not moving. Lights are not moving.
Is it moving now?
No, sir. No, professor.
The first slide, is it seen?
Yeah, we are seeing first slide.
Now, second?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, I will close and then restart.
Yes, sir.
Now it is okay, sir.
No, it's manually.
No problem. I will restart. Yeah, is it seen now?
Still not in projection mode, sir.
Yeah, now it is in project mode.
No, sir. Maybe you can move manually also. It's not moving.
Yeah, I'm moving manually.
No,
sir.
no, sir, it's not moving.
It says you are screen sharing and I'm able to move also. Maybe I'll send this as an email to you.
Okay.
So that you can start rotating it.
Okay,
Okay,
professor.
sir. We will do so.
What mail ID you should use? Hello?
Yeah, can I type it on the text box, sir?
1 second. HOD physics, is that okay?
Yes. Okay, sir. Okay.
Or kadirvelu.v.
Yes, sir. Okay. Both are okay. You can send.
Okay.
HOD.physics, okay.
I don't know why it is not seen. I have 2 PowerPoints. I'll send one by one.
Okay.
It is about 25.3 megabytes, so it will take a little time for you to project it. We have some internet issue right now, I think. That is why we are, okay, chat. Sir, off it. Yeah, I have sent it. Yeah, I have sent it. It is on a share mode, so maybe it will ask once again. I will send it to Mr. Elangovan, the second PowerPoint.
Okay, sir.
because sometimes it's better to send it in.
Sir, the first one you sent it to HOD Physics, correct, sir?
Kadirvelu.v
Yeah.
at KTR
Yes.
Kadirvelu, that is the first mail ID.
Okay, sir. Okay.
It has come to you.
Sir, in the meantime, you can send it to HOD.physics also. I'm just checking. HOD.physics.KTR.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I've got it. Yes, I'll send it to that. Yeah. Yes, I have sent it to that also. Is it now visible?
Yes. Slide is visible, sir, but not in the projection mode.
I'm also able to scroll and it says your screen sharing. Please move this window away from the shared application. Anyway, I've sent email to both this PowerPoint.
Can you stop sharing your Hello, sir. Can you please stop share your PPT, sir? We will share from here.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
But I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Only my slides are not visible, but am I audible?
Yes, sir. Perfectly all right. Audible. You are perfectly audible.
So, yeah, I will make a brief of the presentation. I am trying to project on some of the materials which are in limelight as of today. We all started with early investigations on the natural observables like water molecules, which were formed as ice crystals. And these ice crystals formed some patterns, and human beings were interested in why this kind of patterns have been formed. And subsequently, in the early part of the last century, when X-rays were invented, people started to work on X-rays. And one of the early investigation or the visionary approach was that crystals would show up in terms of the X-ray investigations. And that is where it all began. So Lavie was very visionary, who said the X-ray can be used in order to visualize the crystalline materials in terms of the diffraction patterns. And subsequently, many things happened in the world. And slowly, a lot of things evolved. And in the mid of the last century, the silicon crystals were used for transistor fabrication. In fact, there were a lot of other materials were used in the early part of the last century until the 50s. One of the materials which were investigated, yes?
Yeah, you can see your slide, sir.
Yes,
you
yes.
We will move now. Yeah.
Okay. So you can move to the next slide. One of the early materials which was investigated was the protein crystals. And in fact, Nobel Prizes were given to many disciplines in physics. But if you go through the Nobel Prize winners, there are two areas which has been given large number of Nobel Prizes other than the area of astrophysics. One is the material science area in general, where they used X-rays for various investigations like crystallography, mainly to investigate the protein molecules and also to design new protein crystals. And this was very early investigations. And even today, we use the X-ray as a tool for investigating protein molecules. Other than that, inorganic crystals have been largely used for various device applications. The devices require two terms. One is the performance, the second is the reliability. So in such issues, silicon crystals have been found to be the most useful because naturally we have designed very many devices in terms of the fabrication tools. And one of the early devices which has been fabricated was the 2-point transistor, which is known as the first transistor, which was made in germanium. Subsequently, silicon was used, and silicon was used in very many methodologies, like MOS transistors, etc. The previous slide, please. The previous slide. This is a problem. Okay. So you see here, we have a large database of crystalline materials and their various methodologies used in terms of understanding the crystalline materials. The blue one is the crystal structure, which has been all done using X-ray crystallography. And then subsequently, the molecules have been investigated, this orange one. And then band structure calculations are done in order to understand what is called as the density of states. And then the tensor properties in terms of mechanical properties, electrical properties like elastic, dielectric, piezoelectric were all investigated, this area here. And then the X-ray was once again used for extended fine structure analysis. And then the charge densities were currently being used, or theoretical calculations are used in order to understand the material properties. So there is a huge database available, which is called as materials .org or materials related properties in terms of a website. So we have a huge database, as you can see on this x-axis. We have something like 500,000 or close to 5 lakh data on various materials, such as materials in terms of these properties like structure, their electrical properties, or what we call as the tensor properties in terms of the elastic, dielectric, piezoelectric, etc. So we have a huge database which has been enabled by materials groups, and we have this in terms of understanding existing materials as well as materials which will be projected in the future. Next one. So we have investigated over the last 50 years, starting from silicon, which was in the mid of 50s or 1956 or so, was becoming very popular, and then on we moved on to very many other materials which are called as semiconductors, otherwise known as 3-phase semiconductors or 2-6 semiconductors, or a mixture of these 2-6 semiconductors also. So basically, gallium arsenide is used currently in all your mobile phones, and we also have indium phosphide, which is also used in terms of the fiber optic communications. Currently, we use many of these material devices in terms of lighting applications. All the white LEDs or white light is coming out of a combination of gallium nitride, indium gallium nitride, or what we call as aluminum gallium nitride in terms of ultraviolet emissions. Ultraviolet emissions in terms of LEDs are used in order to disinfect, for example, this coronavirus and all that kind of things. We can also adopt this aluminum gallium nitride in order to kill germs, which are very much needed for protecting a young born baby or a premature baby, which is currently being done by using a mercury vapor lamp, which is more power hungry, and it can be also a little bit toxic because it emits in a very broad spectrum of UV light. This is the material which was first investigated, silicon, and it continues to be investigated for the last 55 years. Though the first transistor was invented on germanium, but due to the limited properties of germanium, silicon is abundantly available on Earth's surface next to water, and therefore also silicon has been extensively investigated. And we have also power devices which are used for power amplifiers. For example, we all know in today's world, we use the 4G technology, or we are moving to 5G technology. For all that, we need to have certain selective frequencies, and we have to communicate these selected frequencies or broadcast, which is done by using silicon carbide. Silicon and carbon, as you know, are relatively abundantly available on Earth's surface, but when you combine these two, they have to be combined at a very high pressure and high temperature, and accordingly the price of one silicon carbide wafer of 2-inch dia is almost like $1,200, whereas one silicon wafer of 2-inch dia will be costing something like 50 rupees. So you can see it is $50 when compared to silicon carbide, which is about $1,000. So you can very clearly see that there is a cost involved in technology, and one has to understand how materials can be selectively prepared and controlled and manipulated. These are the techniques which are used in present day's technology. Silicon germanium is another material being continuously investigated for various applications, but it has not still found its market. as like silicon carbide or gallium arsenide or indium phosphide or indium gallium arsenide. In fact, indium gallium arsenide phosphide is used for all your fiber optic communications, whereas mercury cadmium telluride, which is popularly known as NCT, is used as an IR detector, which was used, for example, in detecting people who are in the dark, like if you have a defense application which has to be done through the dark also. In such cases, mercury cadmium telluride or the combination of these materials are used for night vision camera, etc. Bismuth germanium oxide is another material which is used as a nuclear radiation detector. Zinc oxide was found to be one of the very easy material to prepare, particularly the limitations of it in terms of p-type has made it still now not possible. So there are a lot of challenges in such material systems, whereas gallium nitride has found a big market in terms of the white light and other related areas of communications, etc. So there is still an investigation which is possible with zinc oxide. Many people keep working on zinc oxide because it is relatively easy to handle, relatively cheap, but the problem lies in preparing a p-type of zinc oxide. The big revolution in 1995 came through because gallium nitride was able, the Suji Nakamura in 1995 converted this gallium nitride, which has inherent defects, which always makes it to be N-type, but he was the one who could successfully convert it into a P-type material by using magnesium doping and also by certain careful methodologies adopted. So this P-type revolutionized the world in terms of the lighting applications. You all now use, or if you are in a hall, you can just look up and see there is a white LED. And similarly, when you go across the roads, you see the blue, green, and red, which are the traffic signals, which are all made out of a combination of indium gallium nitride. So you can understand there is always a material system which comes to the forefront in terms of technology, and there are still opportunities. For example, as I said, zinc oxide is a material which is relatively cheap compared to gallium nitride, but unless there is a stable P-type, there are already publications, there are even patents on zinc oxide as a P-type, but unfortunately, this has not come into practice. And so there is a challenge for anybody who is in the audience to take up this work. Next one. See, there are a lot of opportunities we say, but there are also a lot of challenges. A man who has a will can always face the challenge and can construct a material according to his design, according to his conceptual idea. Next one. See, this is the first telephone which was done in early 1950s. This is called as a two gold contact pressed onto the surface of high purity germanium. This high purity germanium was used, and then subsequently they tried to reproduce this result, which was not possible for several years. And then one fine day, one PFANN fan who was working in Bell Labs was coming up with a good idea that if you can make a material transfers at its melting point, then the impurities involved in it can be moved to one side. The problem with that material system, which was used for the first transistor action, was the germanium was very pure. The subsequent germanium which was used were not that pure, and therefore they were not able to reproduce the transistor action. And then subsequently it was purified by what is called as a zone melting purification. And with the zone melting purification, they were able to reproduce. But then they realized there is still inherent problems in germanium with its relative band gap of 0.6, whereas silicon with its band gap of 1.1 is much more comfortable to manipulate and control the flow of electrons. And more than that, silicon can always be easily oxidized or controllably oxidized. And so you can make what is called as a MOS devices or mass devices. So with all that, with all the present day technology of computers, laptops, and the other control integrated circuits, we use largely silicon. There is also an alternate material coming up in the picture, which is known as silicon carbide, which is used for high frequency and high power devices. And as I said, gallium nitride is also an equal competitor, but still silicon carbide stands tall in terms of tuning the frequency and operating it at very high frequency. Next one. So there are a lot of breakthroughs in material systems, and there are a lot of materials technologies which are used. So you can see this is the synthesis, crystal growth, substrate, and device fabrication schemes which are used, and there are a lot of steps involved in this. So for example, if you take a synthesis of gallium arsenide as a compound, you take gallium and high purity arsenic, mix it in a suitable container because arsenic has a very high vapor pressure, and then subsequently you grow it as a bulk crystal in a process which is known as high pressure liquid encapsulated Zubralski. Then you make it as a crystal, cut it, lap it, polish it, surface etch it, inject it, make some marking, vapor polishing, force polishing, vapor testing. Substrate is available. Epitaxial growth, which means thin films of a similar material is coated like indium gallium arsenide or indium gallium arsenide phosphate, and then creation of active regions, use photoresist mask, and then make a source drain gate, make connecting regions. Then subsequently you take the next level of processing. Then finally you have the AlGas gallium arsenide device. What is this AlGas gallium arsenide device? All of you might be using a PowerPoint, and then whenever you use a PowerPoint, you also use a pointer. That pointer is generally in red color, and that red color PowerPoint was made using AlGas gas device. So you have all these process steps to make one device like this. This is not the end of the story. It is not only for making a PowerPoint LED pointer. It is also used in all your mobile phones. The mobile phones as a transceiver, which means a transmitter and a receiver, which is also made use of the fundamental gallium arsenide as a crystalline material. Next one. So there are a lot of dedicated people with inquisitiveness, discipline, and enthusiastic. And then we have some academic pedagogy indicators with which we try to approach a material system, and then subsequently we move on. Next one. So this is a typical Samsung process where you can see 3 people holding a silicon wafer, which are about 12-inch in diameter. You know what is a 12-inch? It is about 1 feet in diameter. And these 12-inch diameter wafers are processed, and then you have a chip which is 3 nanometers only. You can understand what is 3 nanometer. 3 nanometer is equivalent to 30 angstroms. If you take 1 nanometer, which is about 1,000th of a micron, and 1 micron is 100th of your hair thickness. So you can roughly imagine what is the typical order of the chip or the size of the gate width, which is what is described as a 3 nanometer chip. So you can see how the sizes have shrunk, and accordingly the power or the density of the integrated circuits have gone up very tremendously. Next one. Next slide, please. Okay. We have not been always talking about international markets. We are also doing a lot of our own technology. This is one of the technology, which is an innovative technology made in our own country, which is for soil testing. Next one. Which also uses the typical silicon chips. This is another demonstration of Indian capability. The e-vehicles, as all of you know, is not about always using a lithium-ion battery. We have to also have the careful design of the engine. And these engines have been recently very carefully designed to have a maximum mainstream axial flow in the electrical machines. And this has been done by IIT Delhi. And this will very effectively change or revolutionize our e-vehicle technology in India. Next one. So there are a lot of other issues in terms of materials. The materials are not always used as a device, as generally called as electronic devices or optoelectronic devices. They are also used in producing energy or saving some amount of energy. So one of the approaches is to use a photovoltaic cell, or what we call as high efficiency solar cells. So this is one methodology. You have a solar radiation which is free, and then you have a material with a band gap which is called as EG1. So you have a material system which is EG1. Next one. Next one. Yes. So you have another material of green, this area, which is EG2. This is the entire solar spectrum. And then you have this red region, which is EG3 and EG4. So the yellow is EG3, EG4. If you can cover all these areas, you can get an efficiency of as high as 86.8%. These are theoretical efficiencies, but in reality, we get about 20% in silicon. Next one. And 40 to 43% when you go to space solar cell. This is a house in Kerala, which has put a solar panel with a 540 peak module. About 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, the maximum peak module was not more than 200 watts. But now we get about 540 watts per peak per module. So this is one module. If you want to understand, this is something like 6 feet by, let us say, 4 feet or 3 feet. Next one. So there are also inquisitive characters in Indian soil. We are not only working on what is existing in our soil or what is existingly available, we also try to modulate the systems according to our demands and the requirements. So one person in a village in Haryana, has used 2,000 trolleys, and he has made it available to the farmers to switch on their electrical pumps or watering systems. So he has made a movable, portable or a device of solar panels with the price of about 48,000. Depending on the user's customization, it is being pulled by a bike or even by a bullock cart or a cow. So these are the innovations we need in this in order to effectively use materials. The other option which is coming up very popularly is to put these panels on water bodies or floating water bodies like river beds, etc., or lakes. And in these conditions also, people have been able to make such large panels of this nature put on water bodies, so that the panels are kept at a very nominal temperature, and yet they also provide the needed electricity. This is being done by Tata Group. Next one. So this is the understanding of the overall scenario of what is the materials being used. As I said, there are a host of materials being used, mostly multi-junction solar cells, which are based on silicon. All this purple color is mostly on silicon, but some of them like this are not only silicon, they are also into gallium arsenide. So this is the solar cell which is used for space applications, which touches a peak of about 45% or close. Whereas if you take this green, this is about the silicon and thin film technologies. So this is the silicon which was initially used. So it started in a very steady way. This particular blue, let us say, this is what we are using currently in terms of terrestrial solar cells. If you want to go and buy in the market, you can buy a terrestrial solar cell with something like 20 to 25% efficiency. But the system efficiency will be about 18 to 20% only. Whereas if you talk about the other area, which is called as thin film technologies, we have copper gallium sulfide, copper indium gallium sulfide, cadmium telluride, amorphous silicon, etc. These green ones, which are known as thin film solar cells, they have relatively same efficiency like that of silicon. But the advantage is you use a very less quantity of material, and therefore the cost of these materials are expected to be comparatively cheap when compared to the bulk silicon. See, when we have a lot of materials in the arena, people don't stop there. See, for example, in 75 itself, people have started working on materials like thin film solar cells, and similarly on silicon-based cells were used in the early part of 80s. But in 2010 or even little later, you see there is a material system which has only around 4% or less than 4% efficiency. And you see there is a very sharp increase, and now the efficiency is of the order of 17 to 18% efficiency. These cells are known as perovskite solar cells, and these perovskite solar cells are now coming up in a large way for rollable activities, or people want to shift these solar cells very easily. Then you can use this kind of perovskite solar cells because they can be coated on any given surface. They are known as organic blended materials. This is what you see here, organic blended materials, or they are also earlier was called with a different name also, but you can see perovskite solar cells or these triangles which are here. So there is a lot of materials which are coming up in a newer way in order to project for different activities of solar cells. Next one. So this is a compilation of yes. Now our meeting online meeting or half an hour. So you can see this is once again a compilation of the earlier presentation. You can see these are the blue colors, which are all silicon based, and this is the amorphous silicon, which is here, which will be relatively cheaper. And we have this color, which is also about the gallium arsenide cells, which are used in outer space and on what we call as high performance cells. And then we have chalcogenides, cadmium telluride, copper gallium sulfide, copper gallium sulfoselenide, etc. And then we have the organic photovoltaics, which are coming up very fast. And we also have the module sizes, which are very different compared to one brand of cells to the other brand of cells. But what we can understand here is we are still working on new material system, which has a very poor efficiency of around 6 to 7%. But we have already in the market the cells which are used for space applications, which have an efficiency of more than 45%. Next one. So this is the perovskite cells, which I was talking about, compared it to be the organic photovoltaics and dye-sensitized solar cells, which are also a component of these organic photovoltaics as compared to the amorphous silicon here. You see here over a period of something like decade, the amorphous silicon cells has only touched about 14% from, let us say, something like 1990 to 2010, which is about 20 years, 2 decades. Whereas you see here, perovskite cells, 2008 or so, and within 4 years, they have reached an efficiency of more than 15 to 16% efficiency. These are the developments in market with respect to the advances in materials. Next one. This is another new trend in technology, not just in material science. This is the material system, and also it has been tuned to have very high efficiencies of the order of 450 watts to 500 watts. So these are known as bifacial solar cells, which means I will show in the subsequent slides. Basically, the bifacial solar cells get direct sunlight when they are put as a panel like this, but they also get reflected sunlight at the bottom. This is what you say here. And therefore, these cells can give more output or relatively produce a very high wattage, as you see here, of the order of 500 watts. Next one. Next one. So I move on to another area. Yeah, I move on to another area just to give you how material science is not only just giving activities on communications, on devices for computing and other areas of electronics. And similarly, I have shown you something as a development in solar cells for producing energy. Now I move on to a new domain, which is the state of our technology, like what we call as a ChatGPT, which uses artificial intelligence. So what do we have to do with materials and artificial intelligence? We are looking for very many varieties of materials in order to make them functionally operational. As I said, silicon was used in all these processes, which we call as Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4, and now we have Core 17, Quad, etc. And as I showed you in the earlier slide, we have a 3 nanometer technology, and the iPhones, which we use as iPhone 13, uses a 7 nanometer technology, whereas Samsung uses a 3 nanometer technology to produce integrated circuits to make very high operations or more number of operations. So these integrated circuits have not still touched what we call as the human brain's capability. We are still touching only the mouse brain, the mouse in the sense a rat or a mice. So we have touched an operation, calculations per second for $1,000. Now forget this cost, but you can see it is about 10 power 11 operations per second. The mouse is able to calculate where its food is or how to hide if there is an enemy. It immediately switches its mind in order to escape from the enemy or to search for its food at a rate of 10 power 11 operations per second. Whereas the human brain can do more operations like 10 to the power 15 operations per second, for which still we are not able to touch the integrated circuits, because the current integrated circuit is known as a planar technology. We have to move to 3-dimensional or an architecture which is known as neuromorphic architecture. Only then we will be able to cross or at least touch the operations above the mice or the mouse brain technology. Next one. This is the number of operations in the integrated circuit, number of transistors, sorry. So in the period between 71 to 2016, you see here, there are about 20 million operations, or sorry, 20 million transistors in a chip as of now. And this is all governed by what is known as the Moore's law. Many of you may know. Next one. So this is a new physics and materials for neuromorphic computation. As I said, artificial intelligence is all pervasive now, and many practical applications are based on performing classification tasks. I will show you how it is being used even in material science. If you want to bring in a new material, you cannot keep on working on trial and error, even though there are computational tools to identify a material system for a given application. Even then, if you want to limit the number of experiments needed to identify a good material for a given purpose, you can use this kind of understanding of machine learning, which I will show if there is a time of 10 minutes very quickly. Next one. So for more energy efficient future system also, new physics and materials are needed. And this enables what we call as the neural and synaptic functionalities offering close to thermal noise flow. These are other issues which we have to understand. A synapse is a structure that permits a neuron to pass an electrical or chemical signal to another neuron or to the target effector cell. So we have to understand this concept of synapse. A synapse is a structure that permits a neuron, which is a nerve cell, to pass an electrical or thermal signal. So this is the synaptic functionalities which we have to expect in materials, which will operate close to thermal noise flow, which is about 25 milli-electron volt. We have to understand basic physics in order to know these problems. So there has been a development of a variety of approaches for neuromorphic devices based on resistive, magnetic, and optical materials properties. These are things which we are looking for. Next one. So a material system which has been recently given a lot of recognition is known as a topological materials. In a topological materials, the bulk material property will be exhibiting a resistive property or an insulating property. If you classify any material in terms of its electrical property, we easily understand one is insulating, another is conducting. So if you have a wire, the core of the wire or the inner side of the wire is a metal like aluminum or copper, which we call as conducting. The outer shield, which may be a polymer or something, sheathing it, is called as an insulator. Now, there is also an in-between class of materials used in silicon and other materials, which I described to you as a semiconductor material, which are all used for integrated circuits, solar panels, etc. So now there is a new class of material, which is known as topological materials. As I said, the bulk property will be insulating, but there will be still some conducting states, which are known as surface states, which will be conducting, and these material systems are classified as topological materials. The topology is a conceptual idea or a mathematical way of understanding an object. So if you take an object and twist it, as you see here, then the boundaries are connected, which can be connected as simple as this, or twisted and then connected, or it could have been connected in this form. So these are known as topological states. This as a topological state, this in this form as another topological state. Next one. So this is how you have to understand this problem. So an idealized band structure for a topological insulator, it may be little not so easy for a quick lecture like this to explain. This took me about 5 to 6 years to understand what is a topological concept, but maybe for the others who are in the audience, you can easily understand as well. So there is a spin up or a spin down state, as many of us know. And this spin up or spin down state can be polarized, and then it can be called as a spin filter. If you polarize the spin up state alone and make it move from one end to the other end, then it can be called as a spin filter also. So basically, this spin state can be enabled in such a way that it can transfer charges from one end to the other end through the spin filter, or if you can position the spin state in between the spin up and the spin down state, and then if you can still communicate, this is also possible. And in that state, if you are able to transfer an information and retrieve an information, this is where the whole idea of spintronics has come up in the world. This is nothing new. This is not something which is out of place. All the pen drives or the so-called thumb drives you all use in present day technology works on these principles of spintronics. So the same fundamentals holds good in understanding a topological material. So within the Fermi level falls within the bulk band gap. This is the Fermi level, which is called as the bulk band gap, which is transversed. This is the transversal state by a topologically protected surface state. So you have some surface states which are protected, and therefore the spin up or the spin down is not able to transfer into this conduction band here. So there are a lot of topological states due to the geometry. And then there is also the set theory, which can all make you understand very carefully what is the topological state. Next one. So there is also called as a tunable material. I don't have much time, so I quickly tell you, this is an ongoing research which includes electromagnetic band gap materials, which are known as photonic band gap, and even can produce a negative refractive index material. What is the purpose of these new ideas? If you have a person and if you want to make him invisible or not visible, as simple as that, you can use a negatively refractive index material, which means the light will not fall on the given person so that you can see the reflected effect. It will go around the person, which is called as a negative refractive index material. This is called as cloak, CLOAK. with which you can disguise or you will not be visible to a person in front of you. These are concepts in materials which are called as tunable materials. Next one. This is also a metamaterial. I go into the next one. So this is how one can try to understand this topological state and the fundamentals of topological issues. Say, for example, if you have a separation of about 10 nanometers between two material layers, the typical size of an atom, which is about 1 angstrom. So this is what is called as a Kashmiri effect. It produces an 1 atmosphere of pressure. And so you can see if I have a separation between two material systems, they can be called as having a pressure of 1 atmosphere. This can also hold good in terms of density of states. Many of us know if you have a semiconductor or if you have any other material system, there will be a corresponding density of states. And if you have density of states which are different from one layer to another layer, you can produce such kind of Kashmiri effect. So a topologist is someone who can't tell their difference between a copy of mug and this kind of holder here. So this will, if I had the slide in May, I should have shown you this ring, the outer ring here will go around this point here. So this is a sphere-like degenerate, and this is known as a torus. And I don't know why it is not working. Anyway, next one, please. Yeah. So this is genus 1. And as I said, this is genus 2, genus 3, etc. How do we understand this? This is what is called as the Euler characteristic, which is given by a relationship chi, which is equal as 2 minus of 2g for a closed surface. These are closed surfaces where G is given as a genus and the surfaces B boundary components. The equation results as chi equal to 2 minus 2g minus of B. So these are things which you have to understand in order to understand a topological material. But this is all now more carefully understood by mathematicians. To give you an input, the Nobel Prize, which was given for topological materials, was shared by 3 people. And the first one who got the first part of the half prize was a pure mathematician who conceptualized many of these topological problems. And Euler by himself was one of the outstanding persons who had described what is a time phenomena. In the topological materials, we have to understand them in terms of what is known as a time transversal, and we have to understand this in order to understand these topological characteristics. Next one. So the natural materials which exhibit very weak coupling, they will have a magnetic component of the electromagnetic wave. Artificial materials that exhibit a strong magnetic coupling are known as metamaterials, which I said earlier. I just want to go along. The next one. So this is, no, please go one by one. Yes. So topology is began, all this began with the study of curves, surfaces, and other objects in the plane. So if you take a simple wire or a thread, and then if you wound it into a circle or wound it into an ellipse, both of them have a same topological state. Similarly, if you have a sphere, the sphere can also be from an ellipse, it can be an ellipsoid. So the spheroid or the sphere and the ellipsoid can have a same topological state. So we have to understand all these before we go into these details of the topological materials. But nevertheless, there are various ways to describe these topological states. And as I said, a topological material is something which is being investigated very strongly currently because it has a boundary or it has a surface state which is conducting compared to the whole material, which is given out as an insulating material. Next one. Next one. Can you please move? Can you please move? Yes. So there are a lot of new initiatives. As I said, there is also in materials properties, negative stiffness may be generated, which do not exist in bulk material. These are theses which has been described for new conceptual materials. Next one. Actually, for example, I just want to explain to you one particular aspect of a material. A material can be also made or called as a functional material. What do you mean as a functional material? I just now described something which is called as a material which is known as topological material. In a topological material, I said the bulk is insulating, but whereas we have certain conducting states which are known as surface states, which can be detected by means of what is called as a fractional quantum Hall effect. And similarly, we can use materials which are termed as functional materials. For example, if you take an elephant, the elephant can lift a huge log of wood, which can weigh around, let us say, something like 1 ton. But the same elephant, for its food, it will take a hay of straw or a hay of grass, and then it will pick one strand of grass out of it in a very delicate way also. So the same tusk of the elephant, which can lift a huge heavy object, can also very selectively lift an object which is very thin and which is very lightweight. These are known as functional materials. You can make the material transform to a given application. These are known as functional materials. So similarly, in these topological systems, you can have symmetrically protected topological order. You can create this order by means of surface states, and this can be symmetry protected by particle conservation and what is called as a time reversal symmetry. So, it's not very difficult to understand the time reversal phenomena. I can quickly tell you, if somebody walks alongside of you, say for example, somebody is walking in front of me from my position, which is defined in a Cartesian coordinate as x equal to 0, and then if he moves along the direction x as some 2 units, then he moves along the time as t equal to 0 to some time t equal to t1. Whereas the same person, if I am positioned in x equal to 0, and if he is moving along the direction from the point of 0 to an axis on the left side or the right side, it will be a time irreversible situation, which means all of us will be sitting in the x equal to 0, and if I move on the left side or on the right side, we all will be in the time t equal to 0. So this is known as a time irreversible situation, whereas a time reversal is about moving in a positive direction or in a negative. I don't know why it's moving on its own. Okay, so I have less time, maybe about another 10 or 5 minutes. So I will quickly go through it. Next one, please. So this is about time reversal symmetry, and materials which are also being investigated are also known as magnetic topological insulators, and they have shown what is known as an anomalous Hall conductivity. And this is what is described as a half quantized surface. I will show you some experimental methodologies which have shown this phenomena. Next one. Next one. So this is my quantum Hall effect, which can be done by sigma equivalent to I channel divided by the V Hall. You can get it as E square by H, which is how the spin transistors are very simply, the single electron transistors are being understood. So you can have a prefactor for the nu, which can be given as filling factors also, as numerical numbers of 1, 2, 3, or it can also hold numbers of fractional nature like 1 by 3, etc. So this fractional quantum Hall effect is a little bit complicated, but it exists, and this is where we are understanding the electron-electron interactions and charge flux composites, which can be detected in this are given by composite fermions. So this quantum Hall effect has been used in order to identify the topological materials, and these are done at very low temperatures and very high magnetic fields. Next one. So this is a typical Berry space, which we call. So this is a butterfly, which is termed as abstractor butterfly. Don't worry about the names which are used. So this is just to show you, this is what I showed in the previous slide as composite fermions. Their fractional quantum Hall effects are distributed here. And this is to prove you that materials can have such kind of composite fermions. Next one. This is a blown up image of the same image. Next one. So there is a lot of tools to understand various material systems. One such is known as angle resolved photoemission spectroscopy, which is more effectively used to understand these kind of valence electrons, their speed, scattering process, etc. And more so, it is also known as ultraviolet photoemission spectroscopy as opposed to X-ray photoemission spectroscopy. Next one. This is the methodology being used. Next one. So here you see, for example, if I have a material which is known as titanium sulfide, and this titanium and sulfur are along the B axis, shorter along the B axis than along the A axis. So this is my B axis and this is my A axis. So this, in this axis, this titanium and sulfur are shorter compared to the along the B axis. So here it is a little bit longer. So the bond lengths between titanium and sulfur are shorter along the B axis. So this direction, it is titanium, let us say, this is titanium and this is sulfur. So this is shorter along the B axis, and whereas this along the A axis, the distance between titanium and sulfur is a little longer along the A axis. How do I worry about all these things? See, this is where the materials are making a lot of breakthroughs. This results in a highly conducting chains which lead to strong anisotropic electrical and optical properties. So naturally, the B axis to the A axis conduction is very different, and therefore we have a problem here and a challenge to attract these materials, which are known as one-dimensional chains on this next one. These are used as topological materials, and there is another tool which has been recently used in order to investigate these kind of materials, which are known as spin-flip Raman scattering. Unlike conventional Raman scattering, which goes by optical and acoustic phonons, where the initial and final states are the same, but the number of elementary phonons or excitations change. So the initial and final electronic states in this spin-flip Raman scattering are due to different spin states of electrons and holes. So the magnitude of Raman shift in the SFRS corresponds to a Zeeman energy of electronic states which are split by magnetic field. I'll show you in the next slide how this has been investigated. Next one. Yeah. So this is a powerful approach to investigate new materials and nanostructures. Next one. Can you move? No. Okay. So here you see, this is a spin-flip Raman spectroscopy on titanium trisulfide, which has also been investigated using other methodologies, like they have applied a field in order to show this effect, and they have changed the direction or the orientation. So this is what is known as a transfer curve of the same device at a temperature of 25 Kelvin. And this is with respect to the gate voltage. You can see here, I don't want to elaborate on this particular thing. This is an exfoliated nanosheet, which is of titanium trisulfide. Next one. This is another typical example of the SFRS, where you can see they have used a B-axis sample. This is my B-axis, parallel to B-axis, and this is the perpendicular or the other direction. So the excitation and the detector have been kept in these kind of directions. And this is how they have given the image, as you saw in the earlier picture also. So the peak around 370 cm-1, I don't know why it's not seen. At the bottom is not seen here. I may not be able to keep it. Anyway, so this is a silicon peak, which is seen here. And you see here the excitation and detector on the same plane, whereas here the excitation and detector are in perpendicular planes. And see, this peak intensity is evolving here when compared to this peak here, and the silicon comparatively is also given here. So this is the peak around 370, shows the most noticeable change with the change of ribbon alignment or the nanomaterials alignment. The minimum intensity occurs when the excitation polarization is parallel to the B-axis. This is the excitation potential, which is parallel to the B-axis of the flake, which is the what I showed you as a titanium trisulfide. Next one. So these are some descriptions about all this. DFT calculations have also been done to understand extensively this material system. Next one. I don't want to go into the details. Next one. This is my quantum spin Hall effect insulator, which is once again a description of whatever I wanted to tell you. Next one. It will move. Yeah, you can see here, this will move. And this is what is being imaged. Can you please? Yes. This is the hexagonal wrapping of the surface states in bismuth telluride, which is known as a very popular material to understand a topological material system. So you see here, this is the ARPES and STM studies reveal a hexagonal deformation of the surface states. And this Fermi surface evolution with increasing n-type doping. This is the increasing n-type doping. Next one. This is another interesting thing of materials, as we described breakthrough in materials. A material system as simple as molybdenum sulfide, when you see here a schematic of this MOS2 with 2H, which is given as a hexagonal and a tetragonal system, when it transforms from 2H or the hexagonal system to a tetragonal system, which is what you see here as a S-plane gliding, and the molybdenum plane gliding along the 2H to 2H prime, as you see here, has a different property altogether, which means this is known as an A plane, or let us say A stacking, A to A stacking, and this is my B to B stacking. Okay, so you see here, this is the distance between two layers of atoms, which is about 3.61 angstroms, and I can make a glide of this, and when I make a glide of this, it transforms from 2H to 1P. In the next slide, you will see very clearly in a transmission electron microscope how it has happened. So they have introduced an extra atom of rhenium, which is what you see here. This is my rhenium. It is been doped in this MOS2. So after about 60 seconds, you see there is a structural transformation taking place, and this is going into a tetragonal phase. And see here very clearly a triangular phase. This is more clearly described in this picture. So from a hexagonal state of the initial material, you put only one atom of rhenium, and then you see here it moves from a time frame of 60 degrees into an alpha phase created here, and subsequently it goes into a beta phase and clearly produces a material structure with a different property or a tetragonal phase. So these are very interesting materials properties which can be exploited for various applications. Next one. I think I'll just close here because I have a lot of other slides. I have one set of other slides, but for want of time, I just close because I have already taken beyond my boundary. So next one, just to show you, yeah, this is the way you can understand this. Yeah. Next one. We have produced one patent on this biosensor, which is not essentially what I described, but we have done it on a calcium-nitride nanowire. Next one is about a general understanding of life. So a person who is known as the creator of Aravind Eye Hospitals in Madurai has said this, made this statement in way back about a century ago. Intelligence and capability are not enough. There must be the joy of doing something beautiful. So I wish all the participants take home such kind of good messages in this conference. Thanks to the organizers for giving me time and scope to present. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so now we have a question discussion time. So if so, you have a question, so please use the raise hand button. So
hello, is it a question?
Okay, just a moment.
No, sir, he is reading name of the questioner.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so Professor Ravi, how to unmute?
Ravi.
Okay, so please. Professor Ravi, so please give us a comment also. It's not so. Okay. Any other comment or questions? There are no questions.
Okay, I think
yeah,
there is some technical issue. If you can read the question, or it's okay.
Okay. Okay, so now time is over. So okay, let's speak again. Okay, thank you very much, so Professor Kumar.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Kumar, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor.
Thanks to all of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Yoki.
Yeah. And so next is we will have a greeting by Professor Makoto Kondo from Shizuoka University. こ Kondo Sensei, please share your. Do you have a slide? はい。近藤先生、聞こえてますでしょうか？ん。プロフェッサー近藤先生。あれ。困りましたね。近藤先生。いないかな。セラの近藤先生。近藤先生 is available, so.
He is connected, but
ミュートを解除しないわ。ちょっと待ってよ。どうですかな。so please.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
すいません。今多分大丈夫だと思います。
Do you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of Shizuoka University, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone attending ICONN 2023 and to all the members who have been prepared for this precious conference. As many of you know, ICONN is jointly organized by SRM Institute of Science and Technology and Shizuoka University. Both institutions have been enjoying a good partnership with each other since 2013. Collaborations between the institutions range from student exchange to joint research, and we have been cultivating our relationships through various activities. The most fruitful of those is probably the double degree program, doctoral double degree program, DDP. And taking advantage of the program, more than 20 SRM-IST students have studied at Shizuoka University since 2015. The exchange of young promising researchers through the DDP created a platform for active joint research and resulted in many journal publications. On the other hand, organizing academic conferences is another outcome of our collaboration. SRM-IST has been a strong supporter of Inter-Academia Asia, IAA, originated by Shizuoka University. IAA is a community of Asian higher education institutions and holds an annual conference series. Through international collaboration, IAA aims to elevate the quality of higher education and research with a special focus on master course students. IAA conference hosted by SRM-IST in 2016 was one of the most successful ones, with over 100 participants from 9 countries. From Shizuoka University, 22 faculty members and students joined that conference. Shizuoka University is most grateful to SRM-IST for their tremendous support as host of many joint conferences, including ICONN, and hopes that we enhance each other through further collaborations. Finally, I truly hope, and also I'm sure, that ICONN 2023 will be a fruitful conference for every participant. So please enjoy yourself at the conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. ありがとうございます。Okay. We will close this session. And so we will have 7 conference rooms so in scheduling so 1 o'clock, so in Indian time. So it means so 4:30 in the so Japanese time. So I would like to so thanks so all keynote lecture speakers and so audiences. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
On behalf of organizing committee of ICONN 2023, we will express our sincere thanks to the professor's keynote speakers, Professor Yashima Kawata, Professor Toyoshi Minami, and Professor J. Kumar, and also the session chairperson, Professor Toru Okoi, for giving the wonderful speech as well as suggestions to the students. Thank you so much. And also the greetings from the Professor Mokoto Kondo. We are extremely thankful to you, sir. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you very much. Now for the participants, we have an announcement. Now the keynote session is over. Now the parallel session will start. That will start by 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time. There are 7 sessions. Okay. After the parallel session, we have again keynote session that will start around 2:35 p.m. Indian Standard Time, followed by 2 keynote lectures. We will go back to parallel sessions from 4:05 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So I request all the participants have a break and join back to parallel session. Thank you very much. VC sir, thank you sir.